Hello, everyone, and welcome to Butter Princess, which is an incursion by Brian Sago for Trophy Dark. We are playing this game through the Shared Hearth online gaming convention, which is an annual convention by the Open Hearth gaming community. If you're interested in learning more about the Open Hearth gaming community, please check out our website at openhearthgaming.com. A little bit about myself. My name is Mike. My pronouns are he, him. Um, I've been playing tabletop role-playing games for a long time. I started back in the 80s as a kid and played a lot of trad games for decades. And then back in 2015 or so, I jumped into the deep end of the story game pool. And that's mostly where I've been playing ever since. I'm involved with a few online role-playing gaming communities, including Open Hearth Gaming. I've been involved with Open Hearth and its precursor organization since about since like late 2017, early 2018, something like that. I don't know. Time has no meaning these days. Um, I have GM'd a lot of Trophy over the past couple of years. I have not, however, GM'd this particular incursion before, so I'm really looking forward to seeing how this goes. So I've talked enough about myself. Let's go around the table as I see you on my gallery view in my Zoom window here. So, Chris, would you introduce yourself?
Yes, I'm Chris. My pronouns are he, him. I haven't gamed for about a year or so, but I was DMing D&D. And prior to that, I was pretty active with Open Hearth for the year prior. I'm really looking forward. I played one half of Trophy Dark. It was a two-parter, and I will humbly admit that I was so scared in the middle that I bailed before. I bailed for the second one. Just, the idea of actually failing as a character was really intense. I say that, lightheartedly. I appreciate the medium. But I figure Butter Princess will have a slightly different vibe, and it's a one shot, so I'm not going to leave. I just didn't make the second session, was my point. We're really looking forward to this.
Well, we're really happy to have you with us.
Thank you.
Cool. Cassidy, would you please introduce yourself?
I'm Cassidy, she, her. I'm so excited to play. I found out about the Open Hearth about a week ago and decided to check it out. And there's a lot of good games and a lot of people that I've kind of seen around in different communities that like are good eggs. So I thought, yeah, I'm gonna try gaming with these people. I was able to play Zaba's Bed and Breakfast yesterday, which was like a lot of fun. I'd never played a GM-less game before, and I'm really excited for Butter Princess. Most of what I've played, I run a 5e D&D game for like my husband and a couple friends, but I don't know, kind of the story games are calling my name recently, and it's been a lot of fun.
Well, we are super glad that and excited that you decided to check us out, and I hope you have fun today. Rob, would you please introduce yourself?
Sure. Yeah, I'm Rob, he, him. I started playing RPGs when I was a teenager, way back in first edition AD&D days, and played some games like that and Warhammer and Cyberpunk 2020 before I kind of fell out of the hobby and then got back into it a few months before the pandemic. And I'm up to 18 different games played so far this year. So yeah, I have been kind of on the periphery of the Open Hearth community, but scheduling is normally tricky. So this is kind of like the third game I've ever played via Open Hearth, I think. But yeah, looking forward to it.
Well, really glad to have you, Rob. Rob and I are in a Rob and I are in a couple of other games, like offline, so or not or online games, but not with Open Hearth. So I was really glad that you decided to join when I put out my call for players from a couple of last minute drops last night. So yeah, super glad you're here. Mads, would you please introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Mads, she, they pronouns, and yeah, I've started with some 3.5 and Pathfinder First Edition, and that's been decades long. Yay! And I got into online gaming few years ago, and then really got into it when I got into one of Jason Cordova's actual plays of The Between, and I have loved story, narrative, collaborative play ever since. And so I'm running many campaigns right now on my own YouTube channel, Madeline Colley. And yeah, I've played quite a bit of trophy and run some trophy as well. So I'm very excited to play this incursion, which I've never played before. So.
Well, I've never run it before, so I'm also looking forward to it. So cool. Well, now that introductions are out of the way, let's talk a little bit about the game. I like to always start talking, I always like to start a session with a little exercise called a CATS discussion. CATS stands for concept, aim, tone, and subject matter. And it's a story game ritual. I'm actually blanking on the individual who came up with it, but it's been around for a while. It's a way that we can basically give the elevator pitch of the game just to make sure that we are all together on the same page to play the same game. Just kind of like set everyone's expectations. So Trophy Dark is a highly collaborative storytelling game. Normally, Trophy Dark is a horror game, and this Trophy Dark itself, it's a horror game about desperate treasure hunters seeking riches they don't deserve from a place that does not want them there. That's the bones of the game that we're playing. Butter Princess uses the Trophy Dark mechanics, and it is a Trophy Dark incursion. However, it changes the tone a little bit. In this game, this is going to be set basically now. Our characters are going to be going to the Minnesota State Fair to steal a butter sculpture. Why? You got your reasons. We'll figure that out during character creation. Trophy Dark is a horror game that tells generally the adventure. The characters in a Trophy Dark incursion are doomed. They are likely not to succeed in their quest. If they do succeed, it's usually a Pyrrhic victory where, yeah, they might have got what they asked for, but they didn't get what they wanted. This incursion kind of does that as well. However, the consequences are going to be a little different. Unlike traditional Trophy Dark game, Butter Princess is more like a absurdist dark comedy more than a horror game. So this game is going to play out more like a Coen Brothers movie. So this is definitely going to be more like, Blood Simple or Fargo than it would be, say, Annihilation or The Witch. And in fact, I've read this. I was like, I could totally run this as a fiasco play set. I think the setup would work entirely perfectly as fiasco. But we are playing Trophy, so that's the concept of this game. So the aim of this game is to tell a compelling story about these characters, what they are trying to do, and how they spectacularly fail at it. You're going to be playing people driven by dark desires to claim the prestige that achieving your goal will bestow upon you, or at least that's what you think going into it. Your characters are not heroes, except perhaps in their own stories. The tone of this game will be darkly comic, absurdist, and tragic. As with any trophy incursion, inter-party conflict is almost certainly going to happen. There are mechanics that handle that. But again, the idea is to the idea here is to embrace your character's downfall and to have fun watching this horrible character that you've created go down in flames. So that's kind of the tone. And again, the tone is we're going for absurdist dark comedy with horror elements. Subject matter. So if this were a movie, it'd probably be rated R. We're going to be dealing with you're going to be doing not great. You're going to be doing bad things. You're probably going to be doing bad things for bad reasons. but again, we're going to be emphasizing, we're going to be emphasizing more the absurdism and the absurdism and the excesses of a state fair. So some of the content warnings are overindulgence, gross food stuff. Like, yeah, if you can deep fry it, you can eat it, right? And there'll probably be issues of like loss of self-control, crowds, that kind of stuff. That's it for concept, aim, tone, and subject matter. Does anyone have any questions before we press on? Okay. So, let us move on to our safety discussion. Does everyone have a link to the character keeper? Okay.
It's more trophy dark. There's a specific one for Butter Princess.
This is the standard trophy dark character keeper. I have deselected all options except Butter Princess. So
Okay.
this should be the same. I didn't realize there was a specific Butter Princess character keeper.
Yeah, it's on the bottom of the intro where Arctosaur like posted a link for it. But
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
Okay.
I didn't know that. So this is the standard trophy dark character keeper, but I've just deselected all options in the data tab so that we should only be seeing the Butter Princess options when we go through things. Thanks for pointing that out. I will remember that for next time.
Okay. Yeah, because I'm seeing like original trophy dark stuff. So hopefully
you are?
I'm not in the wrong one.
You've got the Butter Princess Shared Hearth 2023 11/11.
Yeah. So I'm seeing some.
Oh yeah.
truly
Okay,
standard
let me.
dark
Yep. Hold on. I must have done
Sorry.
that in my template. Not here. No, absolutely. Thank you for noticing that. I must have done that on my template rather than the one that I linked.
Okay.
Cheat.
I will get out of this then.
Yeah, if you refresh the page, that should change that should reset everything.
Okay.
Thanks for pointing that out, Mads. I hadn't noticed that. I thought I'd made that change, but again, I must have made that on the wrong iteration.
No worries. Thank you.
Okay, so if we could click over onto the safety tab, let's talk about emotional safety at the game table. So we are a bunch of strangers or near strangers or longtime internet friends that are getting together over the internet to play a game together. Each of us bring a different set of life experiences to this table. And certain subjects that you might be absolutely fine bringing up and talking about, I might not really want to talk about in the context of a game. Everyone has, like I said, everyone has different sets of life experiences. Everyone has different reactions to the same stimuli. When we are using so we're going to be using using a layered set of safety tools to try to, emphasize the fun and like put some bounds around things that some of us might not want to deal with in a game context. Because each of us individually is more important than this game we're playing together. We're going to be using a layered set of safety tools. The first and most basic one is called the open door policy. This just means that we are all free to come and go from this game as we please. Each of us is more important than this game. And if things are going on in your life, things that are going on in your real life take precedence over this game. So if anything happens if anything is happening on your end, whether that's, things going on around you, your own personal physical comfort, you're free to just like up and step out of this game whenever you need to. Whether that's, an Amazon delivery guy rings your doorbell and you need to sign for a package, you need to take a bio break, your dog jumped up on the table and knocked a vase over, you need to leave, you leave. Also, every one of us is free to decide that this game is not for me and I'm going to go do something else with my time. To which we say, sorry, this game didn't work out. Sorry, you didn't like this game. Hope we get to play against something else in the future. I do ask that if you decide to resign from the game, that you let us know either in chat or like tell us before you drop the call, just so that we don't like wait around for you to come back when you're not planning to come back. That's Open Door. Any questions? Oh, one other thing about Open Door: anyone can call a break at any time. I will be calling breaks at the top of every hour, but if anyone needs another one, please do. Please just say, hey, I need 5, and we'll just take 5. That's Open Door. The next tool that we're going to be using is called Lines and Veils. Lines and Veils is a safety tool that was initially invented by game designer Ron Edwards for his game Sorcerer back in the late aughts. This is a tool where this is a proactive safety tool where we can put some bounds around specific subject matters that we just don't want to deal with in a game. If a subject is lined, that means we are not going to include it in the game. I'm not going to include it. Other players aren't going to include it. It's just not going to be there. If a subject is veiled, that means we can acknowledge that this sort of thing happens in the game, and we may see signs of it or hear reports of it, or have a character relay news of it, but it's not going to happen on camera, and it's not going to happen to any of the player characters. So if a veiled subject, if we start approaching a veiled subject, we're going to cut away. We're going to, fade to black. We're going to just kind of deal with it briefly, matter of factly, and then move on to the next thing. Two other columns have since been added in practice to Lines and Veils. One is called Ask First. If you want to say if there's a subject that might be okay under some circumstances, but might not be under others, you can call it an Ask First, in which case, before anyone introduces that subject, we'll have a quick out of character discussion just to put some bounds around that and determine like if going with that subject in this particular direction is okay or not. And finally, if there's a subject that you're actually interested in exploring in this game, you can click Interest. In which case I will do my best to make sure that that sort of thing comes up. I would like everyone to take a couple of minutes to look over Lines and Veils. I'm going to pause the recording while we're doing that, so that we can speak freely and not have to worry about our words coming back to haunt us. All right, we have established a set of Lines and Veils. The next safety tool I want to talk about is a reactive safety tool called the X card. When you use the if anything happens in the game, letting a cat walking across your keyboard. If anything happens in the game that makes you uncomfortable, you can invoke the X card. The X card tells us that we need to pause the game and have a little out of character discussion. That this game is going in a direction that you don't particularly want it to go in. That can be something like so to invoke the X card, say X card. You can type it in the chat if you want to, like doing something. You can type it in the chat. I'll try to notice that. But say X card. If you're on camera, you can make an X gesture with your hands. You don't have to say the word X card. You can say, hey folks, I don't want to go there. That's the same as invoking the X card. We will then pause the game and have an out of character discussion about what we need to change, and how to move forward. That could be we'll rewind the scene and play it out without that elements. That just means like, we're just gonna end the scene, rewind, and take this and just like not do that scene, do something else. Or we'll cut fade to black. We'll figure it out. We'll just have we'll have an out of character discussion, figure out and play. You can X card anything that is introduced in this game that you don't want to play with. That could be something like I have introduced an NPC and I gave them the same name as your problematic X, and you really don't want to deal with someone of that name. You can X card, just invoke the X card. Hey, you know what? This person doesn't exist. They don't care what we call them. We'll just call them something else. If you think someone has Trophy is a very collaborative game where people will regularly like bring in new plot elements. If you think that a plot element that is being brought in is off tone or sending the story in a direction that you don't think works with what we've already established, X card. We'll invoke the X card. We'll have a discussion about it. You can use the X card for things that happen not can also use things that happen at the table that aren't necessarily in the game. Like, for example, if another player is mispronouncing your name or is finishing your sentences for you or is telling you how to play your character or is getting your pronouns wrong, please invoke the X card. We'll have a discussion about that. Finally, one thing I do like to emphasize with the X card is if you have if something came up that you didn't really like, but you didn't really want to draw attention to it, so you'd kind of let it slide. And then it comes up again. It is absolutely 100% okay to invoke the X card on an element that has already come up, and you let go the first time. So yeah, even if it's the second, third, fourth, or ninth time a particular thing that's come up, if it's rubbing you the wrong way, invoke the X card, and we'll work around it. Any questions on the X card? Okay, awesome. This isn't exactly a safety tool, but every once in a while something happens on my end where, for whatever reason, I like, there have been times where I have had a power failure or an internet outage in the middle of a game, or something happens. So if I like look to my left with a concerned look on my face, take my headset off and walk off camera, and don't come back for 10 minutes, assume something has happened and the game is over. Assuming that I don't like contact you via other means, or if the meeting suddenly quits and I don't come back for 10 minutes, assume the game is over. That would indicate that I either had a power failure or we had an internet outage. Doesn't happen very often, but in the last 5 years, both of those have happened a couple of times. So hopefully not here, but we'll see. It's kind of like the whole, like when you're in college and your prof doesn't show for the first 10 minutes of class. The unofficial thing is, yeah, there's no class today, and you just kind of like, head over to the student union. All right, that concludes our safety talk. Okay, that took a little longer than I anticipated, but that's okay. If you can hop over to the Treasure Hunters tab, let's talk about character creation. So, characters. So the character keeper is going to like kind of walk you through the character process if you like. So I'd like everyone to so yeah, if everyone looks like folks have indeed picked character columns, excellent. Go ahead and put your so it's got a walkthrough that'll just kind of like walk you through the process where it'll highlight the first thing for you to do and just kind of like follow the instructions on that little orange window. I'll walk you through the whole process. So a couple of rules elements that I want to talk about. Oh, let me step back a bit. Mads, I know you've run you've run and played a lot of Trophy. I think I've played some Trophy with you, Rob. I'm not sure if has anyone else played Trophy before? Everyone has played Trophy. Fantastic. Okay. So I guess you know the basics. One thing that's twisted just a little bit in this game is the rituals, because this is sort of set in the real world, so there isn't like magic per se. So rituals, think of rituals here as more like special abilities or just something extra that you can do. But they work just the same way. The more rituals the higher your starting ruin. I'm trying to think if they're actually even called rituals in the game. Scroll, Devil's Bargains, Help Roll, Ruin Roll. Okay, they are not called rituals in this game. They are called Feats of Hubris. But they work just like rituals in Trophy. So if you have a feat, you can take up to 3 feats of hubris. For every one that you have, your starting ruin will increase by 1. And yeah, some of these are fantastic. I think my favorite feat of hubris in this game is #1 foam finger, which is you can draw attention of a crowd to yourself. We're #1. We're #1. So if anyone has any questions about this, so just for the viewers at home, your character has an occupation that'll grant you 3 skills. Character has a background that'll grant you an additional skill. Your character has a drive, and that is telling you what you are doing, why you are at the Minnesota State Fair, and why you want to steal this bust of the Butter Princess carved in butter. Your character can have up to 3 feats of hubris, which are special abilities. And that is basically your character. You know, you can also pick a name. There's a pick list you can choose from, or you can just like pick whatever, or you can pick whatever you want. But yeah, you can if you want to follow the walkthrough, just fill in the highlighted thing, and then it'll take you to the next highlighted thing.
I think I'm set, but if anyone desperately wants any of the options I've chosen, please let me know and I'll make a change.
And finally, if you want to look on the internet for an image that would be representative of your character, if you can find the URL to the actual image file, you can copy that image file URL and paste it into the image URL box, and that should just pop that image right into the orange like step through window. Anyone have any questions about character creation? While folks are figuring that out, I'll just talk very, very briefly about the rules of the game. So this is a collaborative Trophy Dark is a collaborative story game, in which you are playing, you're playing characters. Most of the time, the game is just going to be a conversation. We engage the game mechanics in a couple of ways. First of all, there is a mechanic called the risk roll, which is if you are doing something risky and failure has consequence, I'll call for a risk roll. And the way that works is we're going to be putting together a small pool of 6-sided dice of potentially 2 different colors, light and dark. If what you want to do, so tell us what you want to do. If you have an appropriate skill that will help you, you can take a light die. If you are interested in a devil's bargain, I'll talk about that in a moment. You can and you accept a devil's bargain, you can take a second light die. And oh my God, that's amazing. And if you are willing to risk your mind, body, or soul, you can take a dark die. You then gather all of the dice and roll, and we're going to look at the highest individual die. In this case, if you've played Forged in the Dark, this is very similar to the Forged in the Dark dice mechanic. We're going to look at the highest individual number that you rolled. So obviously, the more dice you roll, the better your odds of getting a better number. If you get a 1, 2, or a 3, that generally means that you did not succeed, or we could say that you succeeded, but at great cost. If you get a 4 or a 5 as your high number, you succeed, but you encounter a complication. Generally, I will tell you what the complication is, and you tell us how you overcome it. Alternatively, you can tell us, or we could change that up a little bit. That's usually how we do it. I'll tell you what the complication is, and you tell us how we overcome. And if you get a 6, you have narrative control. You get what you want, and you tell us how. Before we roll the dice, we will set stakes. So I'll pull the tables and say, hey, well, what could possibly go wrong here? And people can give suggestions. I ultimately make the call, but I'll use that to color. We'll use that to set the stakes as to what would happen if you fail. Devil's bargains. Anyone can offer a devil's bargain, which is a new rules element. A new narrative element that we're adding to the game. Generally, with a devil's bargain, you say, no matter what, something happens. If you accept that devil's, and we'll usually have the GM and/or multiple players will make an offer. You can choose to accept that, or if you'd like to make a counter offer on one of them, we'll talk about that. And if everyone is cool with the devil's bargain, if you're cool with the devil's bargain, and sometimes devil's bargains will have an impact on other players, in which case we'll need their okay as well. But usually, usually the devil's bargains offered are so juicy you kind of can't say no. That's going to happen regardless of that. The devil's bargain is going to happen regardless of what the role is. It doesn't even have to be directly affected by the action. It's just a new rules element. There's a couple of other roles. There's a couple of other roles in the game. There is a way to help another character. There's a way to work against another character called a contest role. We'll talk about that if they come up. 2 other roles that I do need to bring up now. There is a ruin role, and that means if you encounter something that is particularly disturbing, horrific, or otherwise gets at you, I may just ask you to make a ruin roll, and that is you'll roll a dark die. Oh, that's the other. This I also forgot to mention that about risk rolls. Whenever you roll a dark die, you are running the risk of pushing you further down the path of ruin. If on your roll a dark die is the highest die that you rolled, compare that number to your current ruin score. If it is higher than your current ruin score, your ruin increases by 1. Your character can have a maximum of 5 ruin. If you get to 6 ruin, your character is lost. That'll be a special moment of the game. Normally in trophies like that usually means your character has died or has become, but that isn't necessarily the case here. But you may be, overwhelmed by the fare. You may decide to go off and join the circus. You may simply go off running, screaming into the night. That'll be if your character does get to 6 ruin, that's an important moment, and we'll focus on you as we see how your character is lost to the fare. Once your character hits 5 ruin, we can do something called a reduction roll, which is a way you can lower your ruin by betraying your friends. And we'll talk about that in some more detail if and when that comes up. Any question? I mean, I threw a lot of rules at you. I think most of you are trophy veterans, so if anyone has any questions about rules now, that would be cool. If not, why don't we take a few minutes to learn about our characters? Well, let us check out our characters. Let's just go in character keeper order, I guess. Mads, would you introduce us to your character?
Sure. Jody, she, her pronouns, is 23 years old, pretty cute, has like long red hair in braids, and she is currently a tchotchke buff, but her background is a reflux-ridden hot dog eating champion. And her drive is to change her reputation as the disgraced 2019 Butter Princess. I think she's had to kind of lay low for a little bit since they voted her in as Butter Princess, but then her food habits, or I should say her championship nature, kind of got the better of her, and I think she wasn't able to hold in what she had, like when she was doing the food eating contest, and that's where she fell into disgrace. And so now she wants to, see about getting this butter sculpture to if anything, if not change her reputation, then at least, put her stamp on the Butter Princess title.
I love it. Butter Princess, it is too unseemly to eat 137 hot dogs in 9 minutes.
Yeah.
I love that. Very cool. Chris, would you introduce us to your character?
Yeah, if it's too out there, let me know. But these were options. Lyle has emerged from a refrigerated unit that has shut down and was a pet project of one of the Butter Princess sculptors, and is in fact Butter Golem, and is found his way to a television, and in standard short circuit and other touchstone, splash, figured out what the internet was by watching TV quickly, figured out what the world is, and has decided to become a YouTuber. So is wandering around trying to document his experience, and wants to take the butter sculpture on a YouTube-worthy ride on the electric Viper. He has the ability to consume with an inhuman capacity, pass through congested spaces with ease, because he's made of sweaty, melting butter. He's slowly melting away and disappearing.
That is fantastic. Does what pronouns shall we use with Lyle?
I'm just gonna go with he, him.
Okay. Okay. Fantastic. Rob, would you introduce us to your character, please?
Yeah, I'll be playing Marlise, she, her, who is a food blogger, and her background is a second place baking competitor. So I think she's kind of this perpetually striving, but never quite. But there's always somebody bigger and better than at what she's trying to do, and she's kind of consumed with jealousy and determined to take her rightful place as the kind of the influencer du jour of the baking and fried foods world. Her drive is to smash the work of her rival champion butter sculptor Margie Dobka, and her element. What's the hubris? Things of hubris.
Feats of hubris.
Feats of hubris. She has a banshee shriek, which allows her to stop all in their tracks, and she has a service animal. Use your service animal to disregard a rule. So I think she has like an emotional support dog with her. I think that's everything. Yeah.
Fantastic. I love it. And Cassidy, would you introduce us to your character, please?
So I'm gonna be playing Rebecca with 2 Ks. She is a homeschool parent with probably like a million kids. She wears one of those like denim overall dresses, no makeup, like very plain hair. I don't think she's ever dyed it in her life. She used to be, I mean, her background, so I guess she still kind of is a befuddled conspiracy theorist. And so naturally, her drive is to summon the spirit of butter to this earthly plane by sacrificing the butter bust on your home altar. Because, like, kids these days just they need some help. And my her feats of hubris are going to be repulse, which is driving away people and animals, and number one, foam finger, which is kind of drawing them back in.
Oh my, I love these characters. These are fantastic. Okay. And I love the images that people have found. Oh my God. Chris, that's amazing.
That was Mads. Mads. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Looks like a few of these might have been AI generated, but that is
Yes.
cool for a game like that. That is cool for. I have no qualms with using AI images for personal use like this. Those are all fantastic. Okay, we are at 5 minutes. We have our character. We've gone over safety. We have our characters. We are 5 minutes before the hour. Why don't we take our first break now and come back? Why don't we take a 10-minute break? Come back at 5 minutes past the hour.
That works. Thank you.
Fantastic. I will see y'all then. And we're back. Okay. So let me just read the intro. Fried food, farm animals, carnival rides, armpit to armpit humanity. Welcome to the State Fair. A weekend here will help you forget your weekdays, but leave your dignity at the gate. Nestled within, 90 pounds of grade A butter has been hand sculpted into the likeness of the Butter Princess, and you have a stake in the fate of this dairy sculpture. Also read the back cover text, which is, of all the achievers in the land of 10,000 lakes, only one has been crowned Butter Princess. But you can reach that dream. Yes, sometimes you must grab what you are not given. When life hands you curds, deep fry them. Because true beauty is achieved, not received. And l'étoile de Nord shines inside us all. Never let the odds stop you. Okay. So a Trophy Dark incursion is it has a pretty formal structure. It is called rings. So we start in ring 1 and we proceed to ring 5. And as we progress deeper through the incursion, things become like pressure increases, things become more intense and different sorts, and you'll be facing different sorts of threats. So generally ring 1 is easiest, and it provides the lowest amount of opposition and provides the the most the most enticing things to bring you closer. Why is my computer doing this? Okay, cool. So we are going to start in ring 1. So you are at the 2023 Minnesota State Fair. It's a Saturday. Of course, it's the day, and of course, it's always most crowded on the weekends. But this is the day these were the days that you get off. So you are arriving at the State Fair. So I think you are arriving by shuttle bus because experienced fairgoers know that parking is terrible. So the four of you are kind of seated together on the shuttle bus. I'm guessing you don't necessarily have to have known each other ahead of time. So, but you do have to spend an hour on the bus from the offsite parking to the entry gates. So everyone, why don't you go ahead and tell us a little bit about your impressions of, and I think the four of you are like kind of seated in the same section. You don't necessarily have to be sharing a bench, but you're like near each other. And I'm going to say that you probably don't know each other ahead of time. So why don't you go ahead and looking at character keeper order, please everyone give us your impressions of the character that is to the right of yours in the character keeper. And for that, we'll just wrap around when we get to you, Cassidy. Go ahead and describe Rebecca's impressions of Jody. But why don't we start with Jody?
Yeah.
What is your impression of what is your impression of the other character?
I think Jody's perusing like a map of like all the marketplaces that are at the state fair. Like, you know, she's hogging like one bench or one row to herself. And she's kind of just like looking appraisingly at everybody that's on the bus, like on either side of her row. And she's seeing Lyle there. And first she's thinking it's like, you know, he looks rather unhealthy, like because he looks like he's sweating. And then she kind of just like tries to take a closer look, but he's a little bit too far away. And then she's like, maybe that's a mask. Maybe that's a you know, a tribute to the butter. And then she goes back to her map and then starts getting angry. And then like you see the furrow in her eyes as she's thinking on him and just getting like, you know, this vision of butter and thinking of the Butter Princess sculpture, and you know, doesn't think anything more of Lyle than, oh, that's what I'm after. I'm going to mess that damn butter sculpture up once I get it. But yeah, I mean, like it kind of like a hulking guy that seems to be wearing some kind of butter tribute to the fair.
Lovely. Okay, Lyle. Same question to you. What is your impression of the character to your right, which is I'm sorry, Rob. Marlis?
I think Marlise.
Marlise.
I just have one question, and I'm sorry, Rob, if I missed this. You have a service animal?
Yes, I think she has a little dog in kind of a purse, a small, like a little terrier or something of that size. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, it's a quote service animal, unquote.
Oh yeah. Yes, exactly. Yeah.
Right. Homemade service animal sign on the side of the dog. Are you okay with does the service animal have a name?
I was just trying to figure one out. Yeah.
Well, not to put you on the spot unless you're ready. I have a question. This currently unnamed service animal, are you okay if they jump out of the purse for a second and interact?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Lila's sitting there as close to the air conditioner as possible, in the corner out of the banjo. Yes. Out of the banjo is the name of the animal. Out of the window, like sight of the window, to be out of the sun. And he's like strumming. He's a Battle of the Bands underdog. Somehow he has watched all the YouTube videos to teach you how to play guitar, and for some reason he has learned how to do this, or so he thinks. So he's ready. That's going to be his entree into getting into the state fair. So he's riffing with his finger, playing something along to himself while he's on the bus. And all of a sudden he starts to feel something licking at his leg. And he looks down and there is a little service animal licking furiously, and his leg is starting to disappear slowly, just his ankle. And he looks down at it and growls, sort of like an animal, doesn't really necessarily talk 100% human English or any language, and looks down at it, and then he sees that Marlise is noticing that the dog has escaped, and so he sort of smiles sheepishly over at Marlise, who and takes her in, and she looks very high strung, if that's fair, and has a lot of accoutrement, maybe little things holding cameras and things to take notes with, but there just seems to be something off about her. She seems a little bit nervous. And with that, I'm going to hand it over to Marlise.
Yeah, and I think Marlise immediately goes, "Oh, Banjo, stop that!" and scoops him up and says, starts to apologize, but then takes in what Lyle looks like, and her eyes kind of go wide, and she just turns immediately in the other direction to see Rebecca, who seems. Her immediate impression is that this seems like a nice, normal lady, but I think the longer she looks, the more she starts to wonder if that initial impression is accurate. She sees the foam finger, and that's kind of maybe like the only obvious kind of fair time type thing. You know, she's not in a costume. She doesn't have her hair done up in a fancy way. She's not wearing like any novelty items. She just has this foam finger, and it just seems the fact that it's just that one thing just seems odd, and the smile she gets in return is just a little fixed and a little strange. and Marlise is her eyes kind of go even wider, and she's looking from left to right between these two characters that she's sandwiched between on this bus, and wondering how she got here and how she's going to get out of here.
I love it. So I think the camera then turns to Rebecca. What is what is your reaction, particularly of Jody?
Rebecca, after like smiling at Marlise, turns, and she's like probably almost half the bus is like her crew, and she turns to like a couple kids sitting next to her, and she's like, "Okay, Boaz and Ananias, we got to stay away from those people, okay? Those are called Gentiles. We're not like them, okay?" And then she sees Jody, and she's like, "Especially stay away from her. Just look at the way that she's dressed." And like Jody's dressed totally normal, right? Just look at the way that she's dressed.
I think at that point it's like,
Amazing.
Jody will like bring her 1 foot up onto the row that she's commandeering, and then you see on her foot is like, a dark green combat boot.
And she's just like, cannot even fathom that they would let people like that into the state fair.
Can I ask you a question about, can you clarify, just because there are different uses of the word Gentiles, can you clarify why Rebecca is using the word Gentiles? I'm kind of just confused. I know it says she is
Mhm.
she's a befuddled conspiracy theorist and all that. So yeah.
So she's a very religious homeschool parent, a very evangelical, intense homeschool parent. And so anyone that's not part of like her idea of like religious and good and righteous is just a Gentile.
Thank you for clarifying.
Not using it in like the Jewish and Gentile way.
Right. Thank you.
I'll just hop in as like out of character as GM. I have indeed heard that had that phrase used in that manner by people of like more of various fundamentalist sects. So yeah, I knew what you were going with, but thank you for clarifying. I do appreciate that. Okay, so the bus approaches the gates, like the main entry gates, like Minnesota State Fair, like what is it? 97 acres of fun. I'm going to toss this to I'm going to toss this to the table for discussion. What is the theme of this year's state fair? Past have been we'll just I've never been to the Minnesota State Fair. I've been to the New York State Fair. So, but they sometimes will have themes of like innovation or like state agriculture or specific or like innovation or invention or like technology or
is it 2023?
Arts and crafts. Yes, it is 2023. Hence, we've got characters that are like, bloggers and YouTubers.
I was even gonna go with something basic like bread, like the theme is breads,
That is totally legit.
Bread tchotchkes, like different ways of making bread, like recipe swaps and all this other junk to go with butter.
I mean, there's also the temptation to go with the something like sustainability, which to me always feels like it's and I may be wrong, but like overloaded with like different meanings depending on where you're talking. But I could see for farmers in the United States wanting to be able to make sure that they have a future, something along those lines. But I'm also good with something like bread.
Yeah, I like the idea of kind of the future of farming and sustainability, and that seems like
I like it. I like it. Like this year's theme is sustainability. I love it, especially how that is in like sort of like diametric opposition to what y'all are going for. I think that's fantastic.
In diametrical opposition to the kind of conspicuous consumption and just gluttony on display everywhere. Yeah.
Okay. So you file out of so you and the other passengers file out of the bus. The exhaust of the bus fumigates your bare ankles as you disembark. It is a flawless summer day. A broad blue sky arcs overhead. A sunny oasis of pleasure is just past the ticket taker. Screams of joy are from behind that high fence. Clear the turnstile, and the crowds, and the fair beckons to you. As you're standing in line at the turnstile, you all notice that there's a line of ants that are streaming along the ground into the fair. For you, passing will be slightly more challenging. Let's see. Jody, as you get to the, I'm going to say you are first. I'm going to say you're first to get to the ticket taker. The ticket taker recognizes you. Why is that a problem?
Probably because they remember me from 2019, and they were probably also um, a boyfriend from 2019. So it's like, yes, I'm back. It's great. Yeah.
He looks at you, says, Jody, been a long time.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm kind of surprised to see you here. Especially with well, you know.
Yet I know. Do you know?
Well, I mean, you did kind of throw that massive tantrum when they took your tiara away.
Yeah, that wasn't my fault. So whatever they thought was happening was not my fault. And I deserved that crown in 2019. I noticed
Well,
you left soon after. You didn't even stay to help me feel better or, to just be around after my disgrace, if
uh, well, yeah, he just kind of shrugs sheepishly and says, "Oh, he says you were kind of scary."
scary. And I think like just to kind of like give it a little tiny taste of like my feat of hubris. It's like I think there's like on the horizon there's like a little dark cloud that starts to creep up the summer sky.
Well, he takes your ticket and says, "Okay, just like you're still persona non grata in the Dairy Pavilion, so just don't."
Fine. And then she will take her stamped ticket and then like stomp into the fairgrounds.
Love it. Uh, so let's see. So Lyle, as you're standing in line, the roller coaster, which of course they've built it so that it's very easy to see from the highway to entice people over. Um, as the cars whoosh by near the entrance gate, a an object comes off of the roller coaster and is heading directly in your directly in your is heading directly for you. It looks like somebody's fanny pack. What do you do?
Yeah, I think Lyle is going to instinctively open up his mouth and try to catch it. His jaw is going to unhinge, and he's going to try to swallow it.
Ooh, okay, I love it. Um, this is definitely going to be a risk roll of some point of some sort. I think this is going to be our first roll of the game.
Sure.
So are you trying to use your feat of hubris, or are you just trying to catch it in your mouth?
Yeah, I'm trying to use the feat of hubris.
Trying to use your feat of hubris, which is consume with an inhuman capacity. Okay. Awesome. So okay, so let's talk about what this looks like. I think you've described the visuals here.
And it's sort of
And
an
I think
animal reaction, just like, yeah.
I
Yeah,
love it.
exactly. Yeah.
That's fantastic. So I'm going to open this question up to the table. What could possibly go wrong here?
There's something really like inedible in it that like gives him stomach aches for the rest of his time.
I'm going to ask before we go further. I'm going to ask a question of. I'm going to ask. I'm just going to kind of like ask a kind of an establishing question on like how you intend this power to work. If because we've established that Lyle is indeed made of butter. If you swallow things, can you retrieve? Are you intending? Do you intend to be able to retrieve them later or not?
I think no, he's consuming it, and it's like going into its butter innards, whatever those would be.
Okay, love it. Okay, fantastic. Yeah. What else could possibly go wrong here? I think I do like the what I do like it could that that it could give you a pretty nasty headache. I think another thing that could go wrong here is your display like freaks out the people around you because that is not that because that just ain't right. Anyone have any other ideas? These are just like ideas for setting the stakes here.
I'm gonna reserve what I have because it's better as a devil's bargain.
Yeah, I was
Okay.
kind of thinking the same thing.
Okay.
Or what could go wrong is that the velocity this thing's traveling at, it just goes like right through Lyle because he's just kind of soft butter.
I like it. I kind of like that one as a consequence of failure. So cool.
I realize there is no real upside to this. It's just downside.
That's trophy.
That's fine. Oh my gosh.
Indeed, trophy.
Indeed, trophy. Okay. Would you be so I'm do any of you would any of your skills come into play with this role? I see I see one that might, but I want your like your idea.
Yeah, I mean bravado. This seems a little bit just over the top. Why the heck would you even do this? So
Yep, that's what. So yeah, you get a light die from bravado. I love it. Would you be willing to entertain a devil's bargain?
yeah, I think now Lyle slowly in the milliseconds this is happening, he's thinking that first it was an animal instinct, and then he's thinking like this is just going to make him look like when he's on the Battle of the Bands, like he's establishing a reputation for himself as just metal, you know.
Love it.
So yes, devil's bargain.
So my devil's bargain is a little bit complicated, but no matter what, I think the camera that is in the fanny pack works itself out as it goes down Lyle's gullet, and basically it's live streaming the entire time, and so we see it go in, and then we're just getting a lifetime view of whatever we end up seeing in this butter golem, and then it's being live streamed to YouTube as the fair goes on.
Endoscopy, butter endoscopy.
Butter endoscopy. There we go.
Well, we're starting off at a deliciously disgusting,
Body
disgusting moment.
horror!
I didn't have one as good as that, but I was just thinking that like whoever it is on the roller coaster who lost their bag kind of saw where it went or caught a glimpse of where it went, and is going to be looking for Lyle as once they get off the ride.
Devil's bargain I was going to offer was no matter what, a fair photographer happens to take a photograph of like just as this happens, and it gets fed to some of the like the giant video screens that are all over the park of just random that show up of random fairgoers, and so every once in a while that's going to show up on giant video screens.
Yeah, that one's pretty great because you can bring that back so much. I mean, I love the butter endoscopy idea, but Yeah. Tying it back to the environment is awesome.
Okay. Since you are using a feat of hubris, you must include a dark die. So I think we've got 2 light, 1 dark. So if you head over to the dice roller, you click the rolls button, and under the risk section, let's do
Just
a
gotta get
risk
to the
roll. If
dice
2
roll
light,
arms. Sorry
oh,
to interrupt you. I'm looking for it again. I think I had it before.
it's on the info tab. I can, I'll just pop it into the, chat window.
I see it now, but thank you for putting it in chat. Okay. All right. And I'm going for, it has been a long time, so I'm now on the trophy one. You were telling
So,
me, do I do risk?
so if you click the red rolls button, if it's not showing you the left-hand menu bar, go under the risk heading.
Yeah.
And we're going to go 2 light, 1 dark, and then click the roll button.
Okay. 2 5s and a 1.
Okay. So this is going to, you are going to catch it. You are going to catch it, but I think the complication is, I think the complication here is going to be, you catch it in your mouth, but because you are indeed made of butter, it it kind of like you catch it in your mouth, but instead of going down your gullet, it kind of like embeds itself in the back of your mouth. So this is going to, you did roll a 5, but it's 5 dark. So 5 is higher than your current ruin. So please increase your ruin by 1.
Doing this fast here. Okay, here we go.
Yeah, we're already at 4 ruin here. Let me take a look at the conditions here, because when your ruin goes up, you get a condition.
Record in my game is getting to 5 ruin at the first ring, so
Yeah, I know.
go for it.
Let's see here. So just as that and of course, just as that happens, a person in like state fair like official an official uniform with a big professional style camera like takes a big flash photo of you just as this fanny pack enters your mouth. I think you I think the so I think the complication is like this thing is literally stuck in your craw. I'm also going to give you the and like just as that happens, it's almost immediately uploaded, and there's this like big picture of you like grabbing a thing out of the air in your giant buttery maw that's now up on like several of the jumbotrons that are across the fair, which is drawing some attention. I am going to give you the condition hounded, as people are
Beautiful.
now as people are probably going to recognize you.
And I put that in the sheet. Oh, I see.
I just added it under your conditions.
Thank you.
So you do have the complication is this fanny pack is literally stuck in your craw. What do you do about that?
Yeah. So I think that he is going to, he's got humanity. And so what he's going to try to do is get it to go down. I mean, he doesn't really have carved innards, but he's going to try to get it go down. So at least the fanny pack is sitting at his waist level. He wants to see if he can somehow squeeze it down there. I'm not sure if that is an option when you say it's jammed in his craw.
I think in order to get it out, you can either basically leave it there, or if you, I don't think where it's literally stuck in your craw. I think you're gonna have to actually like stick your hand in your mouth and pull it out.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, he's gonna do that. He's gonna stick his hand in his mouth. And he wants to try to put it around his waist.
Okay. I don't think that requires a roll. Other than several people are like looking at you and are like now taking a few steps back away from you, because that ain't right. But yeah, you now retrieve a fanny pack. Are you going to look inside and see what was in it, or?
Yeah, what is in there? He's going to open it up as if it was his own and look up at the roller coaster and say, thanks.
Um,
And I think he's possibly even going to say, he's going to say something meme-like, because he doesn't have full command of English and he's just learned a lot from the internet. So he's going to say something like, somebody's having a case of the Mondays.
inside the fanny pack is so inside the fanny pack are a Minnesota State Fair 2023 commemorative pen. It's like one of those big barreled ballpoint pens that clicks. A Minnesota State Fair 2023 baseball cap, and most importantly, there is a Minnesota State Fair employee badge on a lanyard. Note: the photograph on this is that of a middle-aged white woman with long blonde hair.
All right. Baseball cap on the head, lanyard around the neck. I'm going to try to smudge the image with some butter.
So go ahead and put it. So I think that's the. So is there a notes section here? Yes, there isn't. Well, anyway, we'll just. So yeah, you've got a Minnesota State Fair employee badge. I love it. Okay, let's see. We are up to Marlies. Marlies, you're going through the security bag search. And they discover a piece of contraband in your bag. What is it? No. What did they find that you shouldn't have tried to bring? Or how do we want to do this? I'm gonna take that. I'm gonna step that back. You're about to go through the security bag search, and you know that you suddenly know that there's something in your bag that you shouldn't have, and that they're probably going to catch. What is it, and what do you do?
I think what she has is one of those little things that you use for like browning the top of like a creme brulee or something, like one of those little food torches.
One of those little food torches. Yeah.
This is like part of her plan to sabotage the butter sculpture. If she can kind of wreck it in some way, and it's subtle enough that you can see it. What she's going to do is, suddenly realizing that they're actually searching bags, she's going to take it out of the bag and like tuck it into Banjo's. Banjo has a little jacket on, one of those little dog jackets, and she's going to kind of tuck it inside of that, so that, hoping that they don't make her take the jacket off. I think it's almost like a little high vis vest for the dog. Okay,
I love it. I think that's going to be a risk roll to successfully hide this and sneak this bit of contraband in. So, do you have any skills that would help you here?
I'm kind of feeling like I don't actually know.
Okay.
But maybe I can rely on my service animal, Feat of Hubris, to disregard a rule that, I think he is, if they attempt to like search him, she's going to use this forcefully and insist that, That's
I
not allowed.
I love it. Use your service animal to disregard a rule, and you're disregarding the rule of like like no weapons, and they would
Eating.
probably consider this thing a weapon because those blue flame things are really hot.
Yeah, and there's no
I
good reason for anyone to have one of those in a state fair.
exactly. So, yeah, you were going to use your feat of hubris. I love it. Do you have any skills that will help you out with this, with performing this feat of hubris?
Really don't think I do. No, I can't really make a case for any of my skills.
I mean, I see one that you could make an argument for.
Which one's that?
Snobbery.
Hmm. I guess, but
Try to condescend your way through this. If that's what you would like to do.
Just kind of brazen it out, and very, very insistent that Banjo is a service animal. And no, I'm not obliged to tell you why I need him.
Okay, so yeah, absolutely. So you can get a light die from that. Devil's bargains. Does anyone have a devil's bargain that they would be willing to offer for this situation?
And the situation is sneaking the weapon in.
Yeah, sneaking. Well, I mean, yeah. I mean, again, devil's bargains don't necessarily have to directly impact this, but the devil's bargain is like a new fictional element that's going to be true regardless of what happens in this scene.
I have a devil's bargain of no matter what, I think you're going to see not only the banners slash pictures of the butter sculpture that we're all after, but you're also going to see a plug in the bottom of the flyer that's posted touting Margie Depke's new book.
Um, a devil's bargain idea is maybe that there's someone else in line that just thinks Banjo's like the cutest thing ever. And so this person like follows you around trying to pet your dog.
And of course, you're not supposed to pet service animals.
Right? Yeah.
Oh, I like that.
I like that one. Yeah, that's cool.
One other devil's bargain is that Banjo runs off for some period of time to chase down one of the cows or goats trying to get into the pen.
I think I'm gonna take the one about somebody who keeps pestering me to pet the dog. I dig that idea. I'm sure Banjo is going to escape at some point, but that's going to be a perennial devil's bargain that I'm sure will come up again. So
I love it.
Go with the.
Okay, so you are using a feat of hubris, so you must use dark die. So it looks like this is going to be a risk. This is going to be a risk roll. 2 light, 1 dark.
That's a 6 dark.
Nice.
So my ruin is going up.
Your ruin goes up. Your ruin goes up, but yeah, you completely sneak your butane. I guess you completely sneak your high end butane creme brulee torch through the through security. Let me take a look at conditions here. Sorry. What would be good here? So as you so as you enter the state fair, you are just kind of assaulted by this cacophony of lights and sounds and um, and smells, and you're jostled by the crowd, and it's a little overwhelming, especially considering how absolutely packed the fair is this year. I'm going to give you the condition overstimulated.
That makes all kinds of sense.
And also, as you get through, there is um, and as you get through, it looks like there's a woman behind you that has a couple of kids. One of which is like I'm gonna say like an 11-year-old girl, um, who just comes up to you and says, "Hey, ma'am, can I pet your dog? He's so cute."
Well, thank you, sweetie, but he's an important service animal and he shouldn't be pet.
Oh, but he's so,
I'm
but he's
sorry.
so. What does he do?
Well, he helps me stay calm. And I
Oh,
think she's kind of snuggling him in his bag as she says
so
that.
cute. And the kid's mom kind of like tugs her hand and says, come on, don't bother the nice lady." "But mom," and then they kind of go off. We will see her again. Okay. Let's see here. Rebecca, you got through the line with no problem whatsoever. And you are almost immediately enticed by the uh you are almost immediately enticed by all of the delectable food offerings that you normally don't let yourself eat. What is the thing that you indulge in? And uh what what not so great effect does this food have on you? That could be like, you suddenly discover you have a new food allergy. It just flat out doesn't agree with you. You didn't realize that this lemonade was spiked. Like like what do you indulge in, and why is it a problem?
I think Rebecca tries the new addition that they have this year. It's like a cheese curd funnel cake thing. And she eats it, and then like her husband or one of her kids or something says like, "Wait, mom, aren't you lactose intolerant?" And she's like, "There's no dairy in cheese."
Um, Fantastic. I don't think there's any risk here, but I think I'm just going to flat out call for a ruin roll. Go ahead and roll a dark. Go ahead and make a ruin roll of one dark die. Okay, your ruin goes up. What your ruin goes up. So I'm going to ask you, what does that look like? How does this affect you?
Um, she's gotta find a bathroom right away. She feels not good.
Okay, I am going to give you the condition GI distress. I also want to I just want to clarify. So you are you're here with your family.
Yeah, I think she brings them along, but like after they kind of get in, she kind of ditches most of
Ditches
them
her
because
family.
she's
Okay.
got a mission.
Okay. So you got in with your husband and your 5 children. That sound about right?
Who knows at this point?
I lost count. Which ones are mine? Which ones I adopted? I lost count. I love it. So yeah, you get in and your husband is your husband and maybe your oldest are like hurting them, and then you just kind of then they suddenly realize, hey, where'd Rebecca go? And you're now off on your own. Love it. Um and let's see here. As all of you enter in and are getting your bearings and are looking at the various signs, you do see that the Butter Princess competition is starting in 90 minutes in the dairy pavilion. As you walk through the fair, food of every sort food of every sort that you can imagine surrounds you. Much of it is fried and on a stick. I'm going to ask each of you, including you, Rebecca, because you tried the you did try that cheese curd. What do you eat, and what pleasant memory does this thing that you eat evoke in you? Let's go in. Guess we'll just go. Guess we'll just go in character keeper order again, just to you know. So, Jody, what is it that you indulge in, and what pleasant memory does it evoke?
Fair food is usually, again, comprised of fried, but Jody's best memory of fair food is from when she was a little girl coming to the fair and, looking or being told, it's like, you too can be the butter princess. You will grow into being that great, great, great butter princess ennobled in butter. And to go along with it, like there was like fried dough that she had as like the first snack that she ate at the fair, and it had powdered sugar, but not only to keep the powdered sugar on it was from like fresh from the oil, but they also added like that certain something special, more butter to get it to stick. So very buttery, very oily, very sweet, and she remembers that looking upon the Butter Princess sculpture of that year and saying, yes, that's going to be me.
I love it. Out of character, I'll throw a little thing about my own life. I love fried dough, but I only allow myself to eat it once a year. But yeah, when I went to the New York State Fair this year, I got some fried dough, and sure enough, I had them brush it with butter and sprinkle it with cinnamon sugar. Fantastic. Lyle, I'm going to ask you the same question to you. What food do you choose to indulge in, and what pleasant memory does it bring?
So Lyle is drawn to the spam section, and because he's sniffing out that sodium nitrite to help with his preservatives, try to keep his form together. And so he goes to the spam sushi section and is eating as much of it as possible. It doesn't really look anything like the way sushi probably should look, because it's made of spam and it's like probably got bread on it instead of rice. But yeah, when he eats it, the salt and the preservatives in it make him feel stronger, and he remembers those fond moments in the freezer when he was first being carved by his creator, and he feels all cold and fuzzy.
So I think the viewers at home, when they are seeing are seeing, like, the reminiscence, do we catch a glimpse of your creator or not?
Yeah. Yeah, the creator is the woman who has been in charge of doing the butter sculptures for 46 years, but was no longer able to do it because of COVID. So she was so sad that she wasn't able to come back to the Minnesota State Fair, that because she's permanent residences in California with her older age, that she carved him at her home in California, and he took various modes of transportation to get over here.
I love it. I'm imagining I'm imagining just like a super fast montage of Lyle, like Lyle in a taxi, Lyle on a train, Lyle hitchhiking and getting picked up by a trucker.
And the reason he actually left, let's say, is that unfortunately one day she did die, and the freezer door was left slightly open, and he went searching for her. So there's some potential other scenes where he's figuring out what to do with her, and but that's for another moment if we get there.
Can I ask a question? I'm just curious. I mean, considering your drive, it's like, do you think of the butter sculpture as an homage or a date?
Yeah, it's a date. He is definitely wanting to find a companion who can understand him, and yeah.
Bride of Butter. Awesome.
It's Frankenstein and Bride of Frankenstein.
Bride of Butterstein.
It is definitely.
I love it. Cool. Marlise, same question to you. What food do you indulge in, and what fond memory does it dredge up?
I think what we see is Marlise kind of going around to various stalls, and she'll do things like take a corn dog, or a piece of fried butter on a stick, and then she's got her selfie stick out with her very high-end phone on it, and she'll be posing with just taking a bite and taking us several photographs, and then just kind of tossing the thing out, not even eating any of it. But then at one point she finds a place selling like beignets, the Louisiana little donut thingies, and that just brings back memories of her inspiration for becoming a food blogger, and her first blog post or like Instagram post that like kind of got some traction, and and this is the one thing that she actually does bite into and start to chew on, and just the feeling of that endorphin rush when those likes started coming in, that was the moment her life changed direction.
Got it. I'm thinking that, maybe you were just flat out on vacation in New Orleans, and you went to Cafe du Monde and had your beignet and your chicory coffee, and that set you, and that blog post was what set you in your life's direction.
Exactly.
Love it. And same question to Rebecca. You're not feeling great at the moment, but what food still entices you, and what fond memory does it bring back? What food entices you despite your despite your GI difficulties?
Well, there's like a kebab of different deep fried vegetables, and she's like, "Oh, veggies, that'll help me feel better," even though they're all deep fried. So there's like a half a tomato, a big like hunk of bell pepper, a wedge of an onion, just like all deep fried together on a skewer. And it reminds her of last year when she came on a field trip with her homeschool co-op. And so she was talking to one of the other moms and learned about the spirit of butter and how, it could be summoned to help with different things. And Rebecca just like glommed onto that and has spent the last year researching and going down rabbit holes on the internet trying to find out about this spirit of butter.
I love it. All right, this concludes ring one. We're a little past the hour. Why don't we take a 5-minute break? Let's take a 12-minute break. Let's come back at quarter after the hour. See you then. We are back, and there was a discussion while we were on break about letting the viewers at home see the visuals that we have for our various characters. So here they are: Jody, Lyle, Marlise, and Rebecca. I think most of these were generated with an AI program, which is pretty cool. Well, I'm not usually a big fan of AI, but of AI art, but for like home games, I think that is totally fine. Anyway, those are some images of our characters. We are now in ring two. Let's see. As you make your way toward the Dairy Pavilion for the announced Butter Princess competition, there is now a sign up that says that the competition has been delayed until this evening. It's also getting hot. The sun is beating down. Sun is beating down from the sky and is reflecting off the asphalt. As you make your way through this fair, it just seems to be getting more and more crowded as the day goes on, as more and more people pack their way into the fair. Generators are kicking on, coughing diesel fumes at you. And frustration goes as you move from place to place, and the thickness of the crowds vexes your every move. My question is, via circumstances, are you more or less traveling together? Or have you all kind of like split apart? We haven't really established any like real connections between these characters other than you took the bus in together. Have you been? I'm going to toss this to each of you. Are you all off, like each doing your own thing, or are you? Have you interacted with each other? Yeah, let's look at that a little bit. Let's go in reverse. Let's go in reverse character keeper order. So, start with Rebecca. Have you latched on to any of the other player characters and have struck up a conversation or anything, or are you just kind of like off doing your own thing?
I think that Rebecca is at least intrigued by Lyle because, like, even if she doesn't know that he's like literally made of butter, she's like, oh, a fellow butter follower person. And so she's gonna kind of at least follow him around and see like what he's up to. Maybe try to casually bring up something about butter or the spirit of butter if she feels like she can throw it in there.
Ooh, is he an avatar of the spirit of the great spirit of butter?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, let's have that scene. If that's okay, if that's okay with you, Chris.
100%. Do you want to kick it off? Is Rebecca gonna kick it off? Is Rebecca saying something or?
Yeah, I think she'll walk up to him and say, like, um, it's a very savory, delightful day, is it not? Very flaky.
Oh, butter makes everything better.
Yes, it it does. It does. And she's like almost in trance, like, okay, this guy's legit.
Mm-hmm.
I think as you're talking and you're standing in this, and as you're standing in the heat, as the sun is, I'm thinking it's probably like, it's getting probably close to noon now. The sun's pretty close to overhead, is beating down on everyone, and I think, I think we're starting to see like little rivulets of like we're starting to see like little drips of melted butter starting to like drip off of Lyle. Lyle, are you just like straight up made of? Are you like butter? I mean, I assume you're like wearing clothes
Yeah,
that
yeah.
are starting to get saturated. Which at first, which like most people, if which people who seeing you just assume that you're just getting really sweaty because it's a really hot day, but it's not sweat. It's getting saturated. Your clothes are getting saturated with.
Yeah, Lyle is is definitely wearing clothes and is starting to get saturated and is trying to find any air-conditioned place that he can, whether that be the family rest stop or an indoor science center type of thing that's showing off all the devices that require some refrigeration, or a museum area or a place that requires indoor animals, right? He's looking for any of those.
Okay. I'll let you make the call. I will say that you do know that the dairy pavilion is actually well air conditioned. In fact, there's an area where the butter sculptures are actually currently being carved that's refrigerated to the. I mean, it's not just air conditioned. Like that room is like literally refrigerated. It's like 40 degrees Fahrenheit in there because that's where the artist who is carving the 12 butter sculptures for the 12 contestants for the Butter Princess competition. Which sculpture will be presented to the winner has yet to be determined by whoever actually wins the competition. But
And
yeah, you can go into the Butter Pavilion and see and see the sculptor working on the sculptures, and it is very cold in there.
and narrative arc wise, since we're on ring 2, it's not going to mess anything up to go into that pavilion first.
You can go there first, or if you would rather go to one like there's like a Pavilion of Science and Industry, which now I'm throwing some New York State Fair stuff in here, but the Pavilion of Science and Industry, yeah, that's where all the pitchmen are that are trying to sell you like fantastic gadgets, and that's well air conditioned.
Whatever's closest. So if he can get to the dairy pavilion, that's his intention. He wants to go there.
Okay.
But I wanted to throw you a option to slow it down.
Yeah, there are a number of places that could be air conditioned. If you want to if you want to establish one, that would be fine.
Cool. So he's going to go to the Museum of Science and Industry, which is slightly closer, and he wants to see what all the new technology is. As long as he's in there, he is somewhat interested in, and yeah. So, and he's looking over at Rebecca, who's nearby, and he says to her, I can't believe you're not butter. And then he waves her this way into the pavilion.
She follows him and she says, "Why, why are you looking at all these trinkets? You transcend technology. You don't need any of this."
Uh, and yeah, he looks at her and looks her up and down, um, and and um, and takes his hand out, puts his hand out to try to take her hand and lead her, and says, "I'll show you. There's I think there's some. I think the future lies in this tent. Come with me to the future."
The future is now.
She definitely follows, and she like looks around to make sure that no one else is following.
Chris, I got to say, I love that Lyle is speaking in like. I love that Lyle is speaking in memes and like company and like corporate slogans. I think that's fantastic.
And I find it hilariously funny that Rebecca's having an affair with Butter. It's great.
So I think we'll come back to that. I think we'll come back to that scene, and we'll just like. I think we'll come back to the Pavilion of Science and Industry in a moment. Jody, what are you up to? Are you interacting with any of the other player characters? You off on your own? What part of the fair are you heading to next? Now that you know it's going to be at least several hours before before like which of the butter sculptures is going to be declared the winner?
So she's like, I think she's like gonna change her reputation by trying to up the glory. So I think she's going to do what she does best, which is, trying to get some sort of championship, which is the, like an eating contest champion. So I think she's like, looking around for like anything, like any challenges going on, that are happening around here, and then like, she's hoping that by doing so she'll be able to subsume that disgrace. And also she's looking for tchotchkes. Like she's going to the marketplaces as well to find some things to get. Keychains or pens or something. Yeah.
Okay. So you're going to try to you try to make your way over to the midway in order to try to, because you're figuring that's where the various contests are going to be.
Mm-hmm.
But the route that you wanted to take is just like you're looking at the map. And I mean, you've been to the state fair a bunch of times because you're a former because you are a former butter princess, so you know the way this thing is laid out. So you try to take the most direct route, and it's either closed or just the crowd is so thick that it's just not moving at all. You try to take a second route, same thing, and then you remember that on the edge, because like on the edge of the midway, the haunted house ride. If you go through the haunted house ride, it like goes in one entrance and then it exits on the other side. So that would be a way to get past this crowd. So you get into so describe the horrors you see in the haunted house ride, and how many of them have a butter theme.
Mm. Yeah. I mean, it's not really a ride per se, it's more like a walkthrough. And it's really homegrown, where they have like divider walls covered in any kind of velvet or trash bag kind of cloth that they can put on it to, just give the light absorption for the dark. And then maybe there are some people that are hiding in the corners, or maybe like some stuff on the walls. And it's excuse me, it's sustainable in that It's made of like a lot of cloth bags with the recycle sign cut up to decorate the walls, just to remind people what the theme is for the year. And then there's kind of like rivulets, like the kind coming off of Lyle, like kind of going through and then like just giving the pervasive butter smell here, and then like kind of like dripping on maybe a wall, like they figured out a way to get that kind of like effect. It's not blood, it's butter. And then just this is going to be ridiculous, but they have loaf-topped masked people that are coming out of the corners and just like, looking like toasted burned bread, and then coming out to shock people, like to do jump scares. And then maybe there's a like a long walk down a long hallway that makes it look like there's like LED pipes that are going through the walls. It's to give the feeling of being in the middle of a big toaster. And then when you come out the other end, it's like it's got rollers where you get slathered with butter.
I love it. I want to throw, and then you go. I'm going to throw one more out. I'm going to throw one more in there, and then after that, you have a and then like the final room of this haunted house is a hellscape as designed by the Pillsbury Doughboy. There's in order to get the exit, you have to get on this little boat that is clearly like a giant bread loaf pan. Dressed in black is is the boatman, like, Charon the boatman, but his head is basically like a loaf of bread, and instead of an oar, he's got like a giant spoon. And the river you go across is made of melted butter.
It's so pervasive that it's like it's starting to smell rancid.
I was going to say especially in the heat, and it's this air, the haunted house is air conditioned kind of, but it's not really super effective, and especially since they have to keep the heating elements to keep the butter river molten. The smell is the pervasive smell of butter is just ugh. It's cloying, and it just does not smell good, and I'm going to ask you to make a ruin roll.
Absolutely. Obviously, I've like smelt it before, and I'll smell it again. So my ruin is not less than 2, so it does not go up.
Yeah, you're fine. You're fine. It doesn't smell great, but you smelled worse.
Yeah.
Hey, as someone who I mean, you smelled worse. I mean, like the smell of the hot dogs at the hot dog eating contest. That is definitely worse than all this butter.
That's very true. That's very true.
You get your way through. Hey, folks, I need to open door for like a moment. I'll be back in like 90 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Very cool scene. Let's take a look at Marlise. What are you up to in the what are you doing this in the like early to late afternoon in the heat of the day?
I think Marlise is going to be looking for somewhere shady where she can get some water for Banjo, and maybe even a little snack for him. Or she probably has some snacks for him in her bag. But yeah, she wants to get some water for him. So she'll be finding her way inside somewhere.
Yeah, so you head over to the so there is a so you head over to another pavilion that's selling all kinds of that you're walking by, and a a man dressed all in white, in like a formal, in like a formal suit, but everything is white. His jacket is white, his pants are white, his shoes are white, his waistcoat is white, his necktie is white. He's wearing a white top hat. He doesn't seem to be sweating at all, despite the fact it is just blistering hot today. And he walks up to you and he walks up to you and says, "Ah, madam, please, please." He like gestures toward a booth. Please try our please, I'm giving away samples of we are giving away free samples of our El Fuego cookies. And they beckon you to this they beckon you to this booth that is selling milk and cookies. Particularly their El Fuego cookies, and you see they are chocolate ghost pepper chorizo cookies. Do you indulge?
Well, that's an unusual combination. I can hardly refuse. Do you mind if I take some photographs? Of course you don't. And she'll pull out her selfie stick and I think she'll pick up a glass of milk and just hold it so that Banjo can kind of slurp from the milk. And
are you absolutely, try our, and he looks right into the camera and says, try our, come to booth number 327 for El Fuego cookies. They are they're so hellish, they're divine.
Well,
are you gonna try one?
I have to try one of these, and yeah, she'll have the camera rolling on the selfie stick as she crunches into the corner of one of these cookies.
Into the corner of a chocolate ghost pepper chorizo cookie. I am going to say it is at once delicious and horrifying, and it lights your mouth on fire, at least figuratively. I'm going to ask you to please make a ruin roll.
That's a 1. I think it's almost uncanny the way Marlies doesn't react to this.
It's delicious. You find this cookie amazing. What is your reaction?
I would never in a million years have thought to put chorizo in a cookie. Whatever gave you the idea?
So the man dressed all in white like smiles, and there's something just a little uncanny, like he seems to have too many teeth, but he seems to have too many teeth, as if maybe almost as if this guy might have been like AI generated, but he just says, "Oh, these are secrets from. I've been whispered secrets from beyond. These are and this recipe was divinely inspired." And he again looks into your, assuming you're still rolling, he says, and come on down, free sample to anyone. And we guarantee you can't resist buying a dozen after you've tried one.
I'm going to have to talk this gentleman into giving me the recipe, and so that I can try this at home and share it with all of my viewers.
Are you going to try to are you trying to talk him into giving him the recipe?
Oh, yeah. Yes. Almost trying to pressure him into it because we're on camera as I'm asking.
I love it. I think this might be a risk roll. What could possibly go wrong? I think what could possibly go wrong here is let's see, what would the stakes be here? That's almost a devil's bargain. I think one thing that could possibly go wrong is that like while you're on camera, he entices you to reveal some kind of secret that you really didn't want to let fly. Is that
Mm,
okay?
yeah, sure.
I'll throw what the secret that is back at you. Anyone else have any ideas of what could possibly go wrong? And
I want to
right,
build on that. I mean, like, it's basically like what I was thinking, which was essentially like on camera with that unsettling smile. He's saying it's like, well, you want my recipe, hun, but I mean, you're just gonna be taking it and running with it like you did so and so's recipe from a rival blogger, and that's what he's gonna put on camera.
oh, I love that.
Yeah.
I don't have, I think that's pretty much going to be the risk here is that he's gonna reveal
Mm,
is that he's gonna reveal some secrets you didn't want to let fly about you. I love Mad's idea.
probably what my intention is here.
Um, and would you be interested in a devil's bargain? I'm going to toss out the no matter what, this guy's gonna just kind of keep showing up around you as if he's maybe not quite human.
I have an idea for Devil's Bargain. I like your idea too. Just to give a couple options. Perhaps at some point he names an ingredient that you just haven't heard of, and it just gets like a bee in your bonnet, and for some reason you can't figure out what it is, and you don't have a moment to look it up, and it's just disturbing you. There's something that you don't know.
Related to that, mine was a little bit more vague, is that you find out what the secret ingredient is, whatever that is.
And whatever
Yeah.
the secret ingredient in these cookies you just ate is disturbing.
Mm. I'm into that. I'll take that.
Okay.
And I'm going to make an argument that I'm kind of leaning on my hype skill here to like pressure him into
I will.
on camera
Yeah,
revealing his recipe.
I think that totally tracks. I don't think I'm not going to require a dark die here. So if you want to go ahead and roll a risk roll with 2 light, let's see what happens.
Oh, that's a 6 light. Marlies is on
Ooh,
fire today.
nice. Yeah, let's just have a little more of that scene. So you want my secret recipe? He
Oh,
says.
I'm sure with my following, I can make it spread far and wide and have the customers flocking to your door.
Well, okay then, hon. I'll share my recipe. And he smiles again with his too wide smile that seems to show too many teeth. And he quickly rattles off a recipe. And this recipe is long and it is complex, especially because he goes into specifically how he prepares. Because he also goes into like how he prepares the chorizo. And normally chorizo is made with pork, and this one, you know, and hold on, let me double check line. Let me just double check our lines and veils here. We don't have any harm to animals here, so what unusual meat is made is the what unusual meat is the chorizo made from? and maybe that's the maybe that's the disturbing. Although I will say we do have a veil on cannibalism, so
Yeah, we do.
Could it be like, oh, sorry, is this for you? This is for you, right?
yeah,
I
this is
think anyone can just. Oh, I was
I was going
thinking
to say
maybe
I was throwing at Rob, but if anyone has an idea, I think that's cool. Like what is the disturbing secret ingredient in the chorizo that he rattles off?
I don't think he rattles it off. I think he gives like a very, very significant, too wide smile, grin, and look at Banjo.
Love
yeah,
it.
maybe he doesn't even name it. It's just kind of very heavily implied.
Wrongly implied.
And I think Banjo gives a little whimper and kind of ducks his head down into the bag.
The dog knows. The dog knows.
I love it. I love it. He then he then says, and I hope your viewers enjoy the recipe. And thank you for participating. And he like from behind the counter, he then hands you a small canvas bag that has that has an El Fuego cookies logo on it. Um, the L in El Fuego has like a little devil's pitchfork at the top, and the O at the end of El Fuego has a little angel halo over it.
Can I
Um,
can I suggest something?
please,
Yeah.
Sorry, Mike, to interrupt you.
please.
Perhaps there's even a dog collar. Maybe like you catch a glimpse of a bracelet around his wrist, and it's a dog collar, and it says El Fuego on it, as if that was a previous owned animal. Too much?
I'm into it.
Love it. And I was going to say, so he hands you this swag bag, and when you look in it, you look in the swag bag, you look up again, and he's gone, and the booth is not there. What's
And I
what
think
is in this? What is in the swag bag that pushes you closer to your drive?
maybe there's some.
If you don't know, if you don't have any ideas, I do, Rob.
Okay, go for it. Yeah, I'm trying to think of something that would be used to ruin butter.
I think.
Oh.
Well, I think. Like as I suggested earlier, it's like I think there's a paperback version of Margie's latest book, and it's
Oh,
slashed, and there's like a post-it note in it, and then when you open up the post-it note, like where the post-it note is, it's like there's a recess carved in the book, and then there's a weapon of sorts in it in the book.
Also, I think the presence of Margie's book is in this particular bag from this particular booth is maybe giving Marlies the idea that she could implicate Margie in this dog chorizo cookie
Empire.
theme. Yeah.
Oh, I love it.
Maybe ruin her reputation.
So I'm going to swing the camera back to Rebecca and Lyle in the Pavilion of Industry, and I'm just looking at the time. I think I'm going to like move this quickly. I'm going to ask each of you to describe a way cool gadget that a pitchman was demonstrating. I'm going to ask you, and then I'm going to ask you whether or not you decide. I'm going to ask you whether or not you decided to like act, and then whether or not you actually bought it. Cassidy, why don't you describe one way cool gadget that a pitchman is trying to is demonstrating and trying to entice you to buy?
You know how you have like those like stir things for like when you're making like a pudding pie. It's like that, but it's a self butterer. So it's got a little butter knife and it just like swipes butter back and forth. And she absolutely buys it because she's sick of like getting carpal tunnel buttering all her kids' toasts every morning.
An automatic butterer. I love it. Um, Chris, same question to you. What amazing gadget is a pitchman trying to sell, and do you buy it?
Yeah. Yeah. Let's say that it is similar idea. It is another butter delivery mechanism. It is a butter syringe that you like pump it a few times, which creates friction, which heats up this syringe, and then you can stick it into butter, and it will melt it, and it will come out. As you pull it out, it'll come out liquid because of the heat that was generated.
Got it. And then you can inject the butter into like basting a turkey and that sort of thing.
Exactly. Yeah. Or you can spread it more easily by basically shooting it onto a piece of bread rather than spreading it.
I love it, and that's total. And both of those are totally the kinds of weird gadgets that you would see that you would see for sale at a state fair. I love it. Do you buy it?
Yes.
Fantastic. As each of you exit the Pavilion of Industry, you are each given a swag bag. What is in your swag bag, and how does it move it closer to your drive?
You want me to go first?
Go for it.
All right. There is a map describing where all the butter sculptures are. And if this is okay, if it's not going to mess up the rings, somebody has pasted a sticker onto one of the butter sculptures, suggesting that is actually going to be the winner. Or circled it in pen. Or circled it in pen.
Circled it in pen.
I think that means it's going to be the winner.
I love it. Same question to Rebecca. You are given a swag bag. What's inside it, and how does it move you closer to your drive?
I think there's like an old, like a Renaissance fresco type art print, and it has Lyle on it in like with like the typical like Catholic like halo behind, with a butter princess sculpture next to him. And so Rebecca's like, I need to unite them. I need to get the avatar with the butter princess and bring the spirit of butter. He's the key.
That's fantastic. Swinging the camera back to Jody as you exit the haunted house. A person also dressed in like the black robe with like the weird bread hat. Oh, I think this person isn't wearing a mask, but he's wearing like a baker's toque or baker's toque. Also hands you a swag bag for exiting the haunted house. What is in your swag bag, and how does it move you closer to your drive?
Oh, I think the swag bag, and she's just like kind of curiously looking at it, and then as she's saying, thanks, I mean, like, the person disappears. She opens it up, and there's a tiara. There's a tiara there. And then she also sees two things. She sees one of those, like, how they have the commemorative picture of like the winners of the Butter Princess contest. I mean, like, her picture's there, like as if like like nothing has changed. Like, she has actually been the Butter Princess from 2019, and that is intact. No disgrace, no nothing. And then something that looks suspiciously like the blowtorch that Marilise had brought into the park.
Nice. I love it. Okay, herein, that brings us to the conclusion of Ring 2. Looking at the time, we've got about an hour left. Why don't we take our final break now? Let's come back in 5 minutes. So that'll be let's say like 3 minutes past. I may pick up the pace a little bit, and I may abbreviate Ring 3 for those who are familiar with this. But yeah, I'll see everyone in 5. And we're back. We are now starting Ring 3. I think I'm going to go through this. Ring 3 is super interesting, so I think I'm going to use it, but I'm going to try to do it kind of quickly. So the day wears on. The day wears on. It's now late afternoon. Sun's getting lower in the sky. It's still hot, but the sun isn't beating right down on you anymore. The crowds have grown impossibly thick, and you have heard rumors that today had record-breaking attendance. You've also heard announcements that there's a surprise guest at the grandstand stage concert tonight. What band is surprisingly going to be playing at the grandstand stage tonight? Any suggestions from the I think
Flaming Lips.
Ooh, the Flaming Lips. I like that. Anyone have another idea? I like the Flaming Lips. I think that's a great idea.
Yeah, that works for me. I'm just thinking in my mind of bands from Minneapolis, but yeah.
I keep thinking that there's a band named Toast, but that's just me. So
I'm sure there is.
There probably is. Oh, I like the Flaming Lips. That's a great idea. I have to say the bands that tend to do the state fair circuit are ones who were big in the past and are now like kind of nostalgia acts. Like when I went to the New York State Fair this year, I saw George Thorogood and the Destroyers. George Thorogood is like in his 70s now, and let's just say it was not the greatest show I'd ever seen, but hey, it was free. Going to the show was free with admission to the fair, so why not? Anyway, yeah, the Flaming Lips are like there's a lot of hype that the Flaming Lips are going to be playing tonight at the grandstand. I think we're going to cut away to just a scene that the characters are not necessarily present at. Back in the Dairy Pavilion, a curtain is lifted, and in the center of the pavilion there is this like there's a hexagonal there's an area that's like this like hexagonal chamber. It's got like 6 glass panes. And inside that is a large, inside that is like a large, like raised platform that spins slowly, and inside that are revealed the 6 busts of the the 12 busts of the contestants for the Dairy Princess. And we now see that these various sculptures have been revealed, so they are now on display. The question remains: who will be crowned Dairy Prince? Who will be crowned Butter Princess this year? But meanwhile, there are contests to be won. The four of you are in the midway. And there are various contests. The prize of several of which are to have your portrait taken with this year's Butter Princess, which would certainly, if you could snag that, you wouldn't even have to sneak your way in. You could just be there. So there are 3 contests that are offering this. There is a go-kart race. There is a Lady of the Lake milk chugging contest. There is a auction of there is an auction of past state fair collectibles, and whoever wins the auction will also win a or like a random winning bidder of one of the of one of the the highest bidder of any of these items up for auction will win that voucher. And there's also a hot dog eating contest. Go-kart race tchotchke. I'm sorry, yeah, there's 4 I'm going to scratch the tchotchke competition because you're supposed to do 1 fewer contest than there are players. So yeah, there's a go-kart race, there's the hot dog eating contest, and there's a milk chugging competition. Are any of you interested in participating in one of these contests?
You said milk chucking or milk chugging?
Chugging,
Oh,
Chugg. So like drinking as much milk as you possibly can.
Oh man, that plays into like 2 contests that play very much into what she does.
I feel like Lyle would be a natural for the milk chugging as well.
Yeah.
He can just churn it as it's ingested. And
Oh my god!
There you go. Yeah, Lyle's definitely interested in that first, hot dog second.
Yeah, I think hot dog first, like, milk chugging second.
I was going to say, I think any of you who wish to, I think we're going to do like one contest and 1 contest each. And if 2 of you want to enroll into the same contest, that might be a contest roll to see which of you wins.
I think Marliese kind of feels herself a little bit above eating contests, so I don't think she's going to partake, although she might watch.
Okay.
Given that she's killing time.
And there's also a go-kart race. So Marliese is going to not participate in the contests?
Yeah, I don't see it.
Okay.
I don't see it, but she'll watch for sure.
Rebecca, are you going to participate in any of these 3 contests?
I think she might go for the go-karts.
Okay. Lyle, you're going for the milk chugging competition? And Jody is going for the hot dog. Let's do the go-kart race first. Why don't you so Cassidy, if you want to set the scene, what does the go-kart the go-kart that you are going to ride in, what color is it, and what is it advertising?
I think it's just like a plain like black one, and I think that it has an advertisement for the Butter Princess competition.
Okay.
Because she's like, okay, it's an omen. That's the one I need to pick.
And I think its corporate sponsor is of course the Land O'Lakes, the Land O'Lakes Butter Company.
Mm-hmm.
I love it. Yeah, so go ahead and describe what it's like drive like winning the so describe what it's like participating in the go-kart race. What is it, how many competitors are there, and what do the viewers at home see?
I imagine there's like 6 people, because it's not like a super wide lane. And I think that Rebecca starts off just driving kind of normally, and then like slowly gets this like road rage and starts just like not just like trying to go faster, but like trying to cut people off, trying to get them to spin out and all this stuff.
Got it. Defensive driving with you're driving defensively with the mindset that the best defense is a good offense.
Mm-hmm.
Love it. Okay, I think that's going to be a risk roll. Do you have a skill that would come into play here?
I don't really think so. I don't really think so. Maybe time management, if only for the sake of like timing when she's trying to like cut through and stuff, but that feels a little like a
Got
stretch.
it. I could also see how misdirection could come into play.
Oh, Chris, that's a great idea. I'm gonna use my feat of hubris to repulse the other drivers away from
Oh,
me to
even better.
crash.
Even better.
Thank you.
Even better. So you're gonna be using your feat of hubris to attempt to win this race. Sounds
Mm-hmm.
fantastic. Um, so yeah, I think your misdirection skill would certainly come into play. What could possibly go wrong here? I think the obvious one is you crash and burn. Um, yeah, I think the obvious thing that could go wrong here is you overcompensate and there's like a big crash on the go-kart. Question from chat: if you two skills come into play, can you use two of them? No, you only get one die from having skills, even if you have multiple skills. So yeah, you're gonna get one die from misdirection. You must use a black die because you are invoking a feat of hubris, and to repulse your to repulse the other drivers from you. Um, how does this take effect? What does it look like when you're repulsing them?
I think that she just starts ranting about whatever latest thing she read on like some crack subreddit or something. And she's so like invested in it that people just get so like, I need to get away from this lady. She's nuts.
Love it. Okay, just for time reasons, I think the devil's bargain that I'm going to offer is no matter what, you get gasoline spilled on you, and you just like reek of gasoline for the rest of the. No matter what, you get gasoline from the go-karts on you, and you reek of gasoline for the rest of the incursion, and you run the risk of like catching on fire if you get too close to a flame. Are you going to take that?
Yeah.
Awesome. So looks like this is going to be risk roll two light one. I'm risk roll two light one dark to see what happens.
Oh.
Okay.
3.
So I think what's going to happen here is if you want to let this roll stand, I think there's going to be a big crash. I'll give you some condition for that. I'll figure out what that is. Yeah, there's like, but yeah, you spin out and crash. You come in last place. I think you probably sustain a minor injury of some sort, and you absolutely do not get the photo op with the Butter Princess. If you would like, you can add since the highest die that rolled was not the highest die rolled was not a dark die. If you would like to add a dark die and re-roll and re-roll all of your dice and hope for a better result, you certainly can.
I think I will.
Okay, let's do another risk roll. This time, too light, too dark.
I got 5.
Much better. Okay. Um, you win the race and you win the voucher. The complication is because you've won, they're going to take you aside and like there's like a photo op, and there's you have to give there's like a photo op, and you have to make a statement to the press, and like there's kind of a big brouhaha, which which might sideline you from from your ultimate objective. Sound fair? Oh, and also you and you also and yes, reeks of. I think I am going to give you the condition reeks of gasoline. Cool. Let's do the hot dog eating contest.
I mean, I'm happy to shortcut this so this way it's like, if Lyle wants to do the milk chugging contest, I'm happy to do the milk chugging contest too.
Okay. Why don't we do that then? If you both decide to enter the milk chugging contest, let's just say that you both are competing against each other to win this coveted prize. I think this is going to, in that case, since both of you are in it, let's do a contest roll.
Mm-hmm.
So the way a contest roll works, let me just pull up the rules just so that I make sure that I'm not misremembering. So each of you are trying to vie for the same thing. In this case, it's going to be winning the contest, like literally. So take one light die if you have an appropriate skill that will help you in this contest.
Consumption.
Yeah, consumption is definitely. Yep, you definitely have.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah, you definitely have the consumption skill. Lyle, do you have one that would help? Do you have a skill that would help you here?
I don't know. Can I lean on bravado again?
Absolutely.
Yep.
Take another light die for each point of ruin that you have. So Jody is up to, so you've got 3 ruin, so you're up to 4.
Yep.
Lyle has 4 ruin, so you would be up to 5 light dice. Take a dark die if this contest is inherently dangerous. I do not think this one is, so I'm not
using
gonna
gullet though. Definitely using gullet. So
you're going to use the gullet feat of hubris. Okay,
Hell
well
yeah.
in that case, take a dark die.
As am I.
Each of you take a dark die, and then each of you may take as many additional dark dice as you wish. Now the way this works is you're each going to throw all of your dice. We're going to look at, again, we're going to count 6s. Whoever gets the most 6s wins the contest. If you tie on 6s, we then look at 5s. If you tie on 6s and 5s, we then look at 4, etc. However, for every 1 that you get on a dark die in the contest roll, your ruin increases by 1.
I remember this is a case where one player put in 100 dark dice at this point.
Oh, you were in that. Oh, you were in that
200.
one.
I watched it. My friend Eric was in it, and I watched it. Yeah.
Oh, okay, got it.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. That was when
Mona did it.
Mona did it.
Mona, right?
Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
All right. So that's
Okay.
tempting.
All right. So do you have it plugged in? Do you have your stuff plugged in?
What happens when you if I get 2 more ruin? I'm out
If
of
you
the game?
get to 6 ruin, your character is lost to the fair, and we'll have a moment to see what happens to Lyle as they do not make their goal and they are basically out of the game. You can
Okay.
you the player is still here, and you can continue to offer like devil's bargains, etc. I may lean on you more to like paint the scene, etc. But if you're if you get to 6 ruin, you're out of the game.
Okay, so it's just the 2 of us. One of us.
It is just
one of us
it
is
is just the
going to
2
win.
of you. One of you is going to win.
All right.
But who knows about the ruin? So I can't wait. All right.
It is also
Plugged in.
possible that you might each get to 6 ruin and both be out of the game. But
It'll be hilarious. I can't wait. Okay. You
There
good?
you go.
You good? And roll.
Okay, so you have your dice.
Damn.
Okay.
Okay.
Ooh.
Okay. So 1 6. Yeah. Am I reading that right?
Okay.
Oh,
So
really?
okay, so it looks like you each got 1 6.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. You each
5s. How are you doing on 5s?
looks like you only each. Okay, so Jody.
Fives. 1,
Jody
2,
got 4 5s.
3, 4, 5.
I got 3.
Okay.
Okay, so it looks like Jody wins the contest.
Okay.
And it looks like only Jody in your ruin only increases by 1.
I know. I'm like, how the hell that happened?
And Lyle, your ruin doesn't go up at all.
I should have clearly put in twice as many.
Yeah,
black
looks like
dice.
it looks like you rolled it looks like you rolled a risk roll instead of a contest roll, but that's fine.
Oh,
We'll
right.
we'll just do it manually. That's absolutely fine. Because if you use the contest roll, it'll tell you how many dice of various sorts.
Sorry about
But
that.
that's cool. Yeah, Jody, your wow. Yeah, your ruin only goes up by one.
Amazing.
But you do win the competition.
Yes.
The Mona method. All right.
I didn't want to go that far. Too many to count.
Yeah. Let's see. You were current. Yeah, look, you hadn't gotten past your. Yeah, wow, this is amazing. Let me take a look at the consumption here, or I'm sorry. Let me look at the conditions here. Um, I think I'm going to give I think I'm going to give you the condition. We already have someone with GI distress already, so I think I'm going to give you the condition of exhaustion.
Sure.
Because like drinking this much milk is real. You're feeling kind of bloated and you're feeling kind of tired after like that giant infusion of milk, fat, and protein.
Yeah.
I'm going to give you the exhausted condition, but you're only at ruin 4. You have won the competition, and the prize that you have won is your photo with the crowned butter princess.
Yeah, there's that smile that gets a little too wide on Jodie's face when she smiles with the glass of milk and then her other hand doing like a thumbs up sign, for winning the contest. And yeah.
I love it. Okay. Hey, I need to open the door for a sec. There is someone literally knocking on my door. I'll be right back. And we're back. Okay. So we've got two contestants who have we have two of our characters that actually have a pass to have their photos taken with the crowned butter princess. All right. The sun sets. Oh, we're now entering ring. We're now entering ring 4. Kind of like ring 4/5 at this point. I'm going to try to more or less combine them because we're running out of time. The sun sets. Lights flicker on. Food no longer provides pleasure. The smell of stale beer and urine begins to permeate the air. But the fair goes on. As you as you walk past the grandstand, you now see an announcement that it's like tonight the Flaming Lips. Someone has like put a canceled flag, have put a canceled sign over that. There is another band there. There is another band that is that the Flaming Lips had to cancel, and there's another band that you absolutely hate that's going to play instead, which is going to be extra bad because when the band at the grandstand is playing, you can hear it over. You can hear what they're playing over like half the fair. What terrible band is playing in their stead?
Nickleback.
I was going to say the go-to here is Nickleback. Worse. It's a band called Loose Change. They're a Nickelback tribute band. And these
That's so much worse.
I have to read the comment from chat. Wayne Coyne rolled his Zumba ball into the butter sculptures and got kicked out. Sorry, love it. Okay. What horrible memory does the sound of a what horrible memory does the sound of a Nickelback tribute band evoke in everyone?
Can you just repeat that once
I was
more?
going to say what horror. I think we'll just skip that just for time reasons. So the carvings of the butter sculpture print, the carvings of the sculptures are complete. You're starting to hear whispers from the crowd that the butter princess has been crowned. And you all make your way toward the dairy pavilion, just as the fireworks begin. To the sound of this, the Nickelback tribute band is playing. Darkness. The sun sets. It's dark, and they start the evening fireworks display, which is a perfect cover for your butter heist. I am going to ask who is Mads, what is the name of the winner of the who has been named Butter Princess this year? And Chris, what is the name of the first runner-up?
The name of the winner is Candy Pierce.
Yeah, the runner-up is Kayleigh, spelled Kayleigh, Kayleigh Bledsoe.
Love it. Okay, as the four of you converge on the dairy pavilion, as the four of you converge on the dairy pavilion, your bodies are all starting to feel the strain of the day. How are each of you feeling right now?
I think Molly's is tensing up, just wired with energy. Her hair is kind of looking frizzy and out of place, and she's just like almost vibrating with energy as she's getting close to her goal.
Rebecca, you have now you have gotten away from the brouhaha, and your picture up on the your picture's also up on the jumbotron from winning the go-kart race. How do you feel at this point?
I think she's getting tired, but she also is like, this is, this was expected. I'm on a pilgrimage almost.
Nice.
And it'll all be worth it.
Oh my God.
Lyle, as you approach the dairy pavilion, that photo from earlier in the day pops up again of you catching that fanny pack in your mouth. And several people look up at that and look at you and look up at that and look at you and back away slowly. How do you feel at this time?
I just have one question. I'm conscious of time, but is Rebecca still at all near Lyle? Is still interested, or is Rebecca now like, I can just go to the other person with my pass?
I think she's gonna try, like, she's on her way to the butter sculpture because she's like, if I don't see him on the way, I'll get the sculpture and then bring it to him if I don't find him. So she's definitely looking for him, but I think maybe got a little separated.
Got it. Yeah, he is nervous about the time that we've got at the park. He really wants to find the butter princess, and is still interested. he's frazzled and he's interested in getting on the roller coaster with her, though now he's like, wait, is that even going to happen? Is the roller coaster line going to be crowded? Am I even going to have time to get on that? So should I just be trying to find her? And he's just feeling confused, and he's melted a little bit more. I'd say like maybe 1/5 of him has run off of his body already. So he looks emaciated. Yeah, and his clothing is pretty much at this point just a darker color.
I'm just gonna toss this out there. Would like consuming more butter like make you flesh out more?
He has had that thought. Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
I will mention that each of the butter sculptures weighs 50 pounds each, and there's 12 of them.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah. So that's a good point. He is starting to think maybe I've got to feed.
And Jody, how are you feeling?
She's just very intent upon getting that picture with the Butter Princess. Now, is it a picture with the actual winners of the Butter Princess contest, or the picture with the Butter Princess statues?
The answer to that is both. You'll have it'll be a photograph of you with the actual Butter Princess in front of her bust carved in 50 pounds of butter.
Because I have like a nasty idea of how she's gonna go to ruin, as well as change her reputation.
And I think I think it's going to be and I think there's going to be both a group shot of all of the contest winners who are having their photos taken with her, and then there'll be a couple of briefly individual shots. So there'll be an opportunity for both Rebecca and Jody to be in the same scene. But anyway, so you enter the dairy pavilion. It is sadly nondescript inside. It is only a vaguely textured concrete and painted in a pale crumbling yellow. It does not appear to be a palace fit for royalty. However, inside the building, an arc of glass refrigerators are fitted with a stunning array of milk, cheese, and butter. And there is a row of a dozen nearly identical busts of young women carved in butter. At the very center of the arc, there's a spotlight on one. A tiara glitters spectacularly from this glorious bust, protected by a glass display case. The sculpture of the Butter Princess is there, and standing next to this refrigerated display case is a young woman with a sash that says Butter Princess, an identical tiara. Yes, this is Candy Pierce herself. The runners up were each the other contestants were each standing near their sculptures. They're all looking a little dejected. I'm going to say at this point, the four of you enter the room. There are a lot of other people in this room as well. A lot of people have come in to see the winner of the Butter Princess. I think Kaylee, I think Candy is she is talking to a reporter that has she's like talking to a reporter, and the reporter it's a female reporter. She's got that long old-fashioned wand mic with a little metal ball on the top, and is going back and forth. Can't hear what they're saying. And there's a cameraman a few paces behind that's got one of those big TV video cameras on their shoulder that are filming it. Now, Jody and Rebecca, you do have your passes you do have your vouchers to have your photo taken with Candy, and the other two of you are there. Question to clarify: is the Butter Princess the person who carved the best sculpture, or is that a separate thing? The Butter Princess is basically it's a beauty pageant, and the winner of the pageant, all of the finalists each have their busts carved. The winner gets to keep it, and then the rest of them are basically melted down for whatever reason. And yeah, that is actually a real thing. The Butter Princess and the Butter Princess sculpture, that is actually a real thing. That happens at the Minnesota State Fair. And if you are the winner, you get to keep it. It's 50 pounds of butter carved in your likeness. Some people will actually buy a freezer and just kind of like keep it in there. Others will like, carve it up and bake cakes out of it or whatever. Anyway, it's there. It's there, and its likeness is there. And you're all there. Let's start with Lyle. Lyle, what are you doing? What is your plans, and what do you want to try to do here?
Yeah, so Lyle's if it's okay, I'm gonna say at some point Lyle actually changed his completely soaked shirt and put on a t-shirt that he got from a stall. But he's 6 and 1 half a dozen. He's got his employee badge. He tried to smudge a little bit, and he's got a hat on. And so if needed, he'll use his weave feat of hubris. But he's trying to get to one of the other, possibly in the back, sculptures, because he is thinking that he should rebuild his body so that he can have the strength to find a way to get to the actual Butter Princess.
Okay, so you want to try to use your employee pass to get access to the non-winning, but I'm going to say the non-winning butter sculptures are kind of like in their own case to the side.
Yep.
Kind of in their own case to the side, and in front of, and kind of like in an arc, and then in front of them in a separate case is the bust of the winner, and the winner of the actual person is standing next to it. But yeah, I'm going to say yeah, you could definitely try to use your employee pass to gain access to the cabinets that have the other 11 statues.
Okay. So yeah, is there going to be any kind of roll required?
I'm going to say, since you don't really, I'm going to say you have the employee pass that lets you get in there, but I think they're going to look at the pass and look at you, and this is kind of unusual. So I think I'm going to ask this to be a risk roll to gain access to the runners up statues.
All right. So I've got a skill. I mean, we've got the humanity skill.
I think that means I think this means you think you're really good at passing yourself off as human.
Yeah, he's trying to, before he shows up, he tries to make himself look a little bit closer to what that lady on the pass looked like.
Sure. Yeah, I'll let you take a light die from that. Yeah, I think the devil's bargain here is going to be no matter what happens here, your employee pass is going to get confiscated.
100%. I will take that. Are there other devil's bargain ideas? In the interest of time, I'm happy to just take that one.
Okay.
All right. So I'm going to roll 1 light, 1 dark.
You can roll 2. You can roll. I don't think this is inherently risky, so I think that's going to be 2 light.
Okay.
2 light, no dark.
No dark. Oh, the devil's bargain is not. Okay, got it.
The devil's bargain is for a second light die.
Okay. All righty. I got a 5 and a 4.
Okay. We forgot to set stakes here. That's okay. I think what could go. I mean, I think obviously the thing that could go wrong here is that I think the thing that could have gone wrong here was that they call security on you, but they don't. They let you in. I think the complication here is, yeah, you are in the case, but this case is like, these are glass cases and they're open and everyone can see you. Everyone can 100%. See you in there, and you're probably not supposed to be in there. 100%. It seems unusual. So
what his intention would be to try to surreptitiously hollow out the butter sculptures, if he has to use his hand.
Oh, like scoop out the back of it.
Right, but sort of maybe do it from underneath, if he has to use his hand or has to use that syringe that he has, and then eat it or re-inject it into himself.
Nice. Yeah, I think, I'm not going to call for a roll here. I'll come back to you, and you can tell.
Sure.
I'll come back to you, and you can tell us. You can just tell us what that looks like.
Cool.
The complication here is whatever you're doing, people can see it because you're
and I'm
kind of like,
hounded.
oh, and you're hounded. That's true. Forgot about that. Yeah, you're hounded. There's there's a lot of people that seem to have interest in you because you're the guy you're the weirdo who caught who got that thing in their mouth, and everyone's seen that photograph. Um, Marlies, what are you doing in here? What is your approach to attempt to steal the butter sculpture?
Well, I don't even want to steal them. I want to get in there and melt them, ruin them. Yeah, I think I'm just going to kind of try and brazen my way through and to the front of the crowd, and then like sneak in, and I can deploy. If it comes to it, I can deploy my Banshee Shriek to just bring the room to a standstill and give me enough time to get in there with the cackling with laughter with my blowtorch and ruin
I
everyone's
love
fun.
it. I love it. Okay. So Lyle is in the display case with the 11 with the 11 other butter sculptures. I think at this point, Jody and Rebecca, you are. I think you have shown your. I think you have shown that you are the winners, and you're getting your. And I think you're standing on. I think you are standing on either side of. I think you are standing on either side of. I think you've been let into the like the large display case that houses the sculpture. So you're like both right there. Um, the the door is open behind. The winner, Candy Pierce, is in there with you. And yeah, there's now a photo op of the two of you and the winner and the sculpture itself. And yeah, you're getting photographed. What are you doing?
In the interest of time, it's like, I'm gonna just go straight to what I was intending on doing, which was like, trying to burn and melt the Butter Princess sculpture. But what I think can go wrong, or no matter what, whatever, I think that because of her exhaustion, she blends the two together where she thinks she's melting the statue, but then she ends up taking out Candy Pierce. There's a change for reputation for you. So,
Rebecca, what are you intending to do here?
I think that if she sees Jody or Marlies trying to destroy the butter, she's gonna try to stop them by
contest round.
bringing the attention to them with her finger. She's gonna like point at them, like, "Look, they're trying to get the butter."
Again, for like we're rapidly running out of time for this game, so I'm going to just say Lyle, I'm going to say that you use that way cool butter syringe that you bought at the Pavilion of Science and Industry, and you have used that to hollow out the backs of like several of these runners-up statues, and you have reconstituted yourself, and you're back to your normal size. It's nice and cool in here, so you are, you're good and solid. What are you trying to do? I'm going to say, what are you trying to do to like gain the to like get the statue? So I think what this is all going to boil down to is I think this is just going to be a four-way contest roll.
Woo!
to see who gets the to see who actually is able to claim the statue and like what happens.
Oh yeah, he's in like beast mode, so he's basically going to just try to bust through everybody, and grab the sculpture and get out of there.
Get out of there and get onto the roller coaster. I love it. I love
Yep.
it. Okay, so I think in interest so yeah, this is just going to be a four-way contest roll. Let's talk about some dice. So Mads, do you have a skill that will help you here?
Mm-hmm. Damn it. Appraisal, hoarding, vigilance. I mean, not really.
Okay. So don't take a light die for that.
Yep.
Take a light die for each point of ruin, so that's going to be 4.
Okay.
I think at this point, since I think you're good, I think everyone will need to take a dark die because what you're doing here is inherently dangerous because there are security guards and there are like other contestants and there are people who don't want you to steal a sculpture or destroy a sculpture depending on what you're trying to do with it.
Yep.
And then you may add as many dark dice as you want.
Yep.
So key that up, but don't hit roll yet.
So if we have light dice, I mean, I think that I've got whale and bravado. I think both of those are kind of.
Yep.
We add one for a skill and then one for each ruin.
Exactly. You add 1 light die for a skill and 1 light die for each point of ruin.
Yep.
Everyone must add 1 dark die, and then you can add in as many additional dark dice as you'd like.
Yep.
All right,
So Lyle, I think you're going to be taking a total of 5 light dice, and then at least 1 dark die and as many dark as you want. Marlies, do you have any skills that will help you?
I don't think I have a skill, so I've just programmed in the 4 light dice for the room.
Okay. And then again, however many dark. And Rebecca, do you have a skill that will help you here? I see 1.
Yeah, I'm thinking like exhortation, like trying to get them to stop. Just
Okay. Yep. So you take
and the
4
contest roll. Sorry to interrupt you. Not.
Yep.
Contest.
Yeah, this is a contest roll. So yeah, Rebecca, take 5 light dice and again, at least 1 dark dice and as many additional as you want. Does everyone have your contest rolls queued up?
Yes.
Go ahead and each of you click roll.
My ruin went up by 5.
Holy shit!
Jody's ruin goes up by 8, but you have 5 sixes.
Woohoo!
Rebecca's ruin goes up by 2, and has 2 sixes. Marlise's ruin only goes up by 1, and has 1 6. And Lyle has 7 sixes, and their ruin goes up by 5. So I think the winner of the contest, let's see, Jody got 5, Rebecca got 2,
Lyle.
Marlis got 1, Lyle got 7. So Lyle wins the contest, but your ruin, your ruin goes past 6. Looking at this, let's see. So everyone except Marlise has their ruin. Their ruin goes over 6. So,
Yay.
but
I already know
Lyle,
how mine comes out. So
Lyle, you win the contest. How do you? So tell us what do you do? How do you get the? Paint the scene. Like you grab the statue and then what? Just take it.
Yep. Well, I mean, tell me this. Is he able to do anything before his ruin, or is he just melted in a pile of butter as soon as he grabs her?
In the interest of time, is it okay if I just like take some narrative here for
I think you should do it.
Okay. So I think what happens here is so Lyle just kind of like busts like in the midst of this this photo contest as Jody was about to try to like ruin the statue. Lyle just like busts through like the display case, grabs the statue and just like runs through it, roaring as if he were like Frankenstein.
Slippery,
Rebecca,
nice and slippery.
Exactly. Rebecca, you see the avatar of the butter spirit grab its sacred mate and run off. You start sprinting after them because you must be part of this. And you follow Lyle, who is I'm imagining like who's like running through the fair, holding the butter statue up like above him as a thing of glory. Um, the crowds part as they see this like bizarre procession screaming as you make a beeline for the roller coaster. And I think the two of you like hop into the first seat of the roller coaster, like next to each other, like, and you're holding this above you. We'll we'll come back to that. Jody, what did you said you had some idea for
Oh
what you
yeah,
were doing?
I already knew like, how ruined she was. So between being exhausted and then just like, just thinking about her disgrace, like immersed in it, like, she's thinking that she's taking out the butter sculpture, but she's envisioning this, and maybe there's like some kind of like haze over her vision, so she kind of blends the two, the butter sculpture and then Candy together. And then, she doesn't even notice, like in the hubbub of Lyle crashing in, grabbing the sculpture and going, she's just like, she's done the blowtorch, and then she's like, she's pretty much aiming it for Candy. So there's like mayhem as people are seeing their butter princess burned right in front of them. And yeah.
I was going to say, yeah, her gown catches on fire, as does her hairspray soaked hair, and yeah, Candy goes up like a torch. But in your glee, Jody also catches on fire in the conflagration.
Yes.
Um, on the roller coaster, yeah, on the roller coaster, the roller coaster is like going up, like click, 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 and but
Mike,
one of the yes,
can the song "I Like Bread and Butter" by the New Beats please be playing while this is happening on the roller coaster?
100%. I don't
And
know the
remember,
song, but 100%.
Rebecca reeks of gasoline, right?
Yes, she does. I was going to
Okay.
say as you were clicking up, as the roller coaster was clicking up to the height of the first drop, there's a spark, um, and it lights it lights Rebecca's like um, uh, denim cover, the hem of her denim
The foam
coverall
finger.
skirt.
The foam finger.
Foam finger. I forgot about the foam finger. Yes, yes, yes.
Sorry to interrupt you, Mike.
No. That's even better. I love it. It lights your literal foam finger on fire. As you go over, and the air rushing at you like fans the flames. As as you all like, as the roller coaster like bursts into flame, and Lyle being made of butter feeds the fire like a giant candle, as we see everything like melt together. But the look of glee on Rebecca's face as she is becoming one with the butter spirit makes everything fine. Um, it is a week later. What is Marlies doing?
Marlies is posting on Instagram. She is delighted that things worked out the way they did, because her rival's reputation is ruined. The Butter Princess ceremony was a catastrophe, and she didn't even have to do anything or even get in any trouble for it. She gets away clean, scot-free, and is ready to take up her rightful place as the Midwest's premier food influencer.
And
Bravo.
that was fantastic. If I can end with a stinger, if that's okay. I think the camera pans back and Marlies is like tapping away at her laptop, and we see like the blog post go up. And she leans back in her chair with a smile, and a voice off camera says, "Well, darling, I think you did really, really good here. and we pan back, and standing next to her is a man with too many teeth, man with too many teeth, still wearing a solid white suit.
Does he have a bracelet that says banjo now?
Oh, that'd be fun. If that's okay,
Ooh,
if that's okay with you, Rob.
Truly evil. Yeah, I love it.
Yeah. Oh my god.
And that was Butter Princess.
Woo! Congrats! Congrats!
This, I love this. I absolutely love
Insane.
this game. This is so much fun.
Insane.
Please listen to I Like Bread and Butter by the New Beats. You've heard it before, you just don't remember it.
Fair enough. Fair enough. So thank you for watching, everyone. I like to do a little if folks have time, we're like right up at the edge here. Folks have time, I'd like to do a little debrief called Stars and Wishes, but I prefer not to record that so that we can all feel free to speak freely. Thanks everyone for watching, and hope to see you on the internet at some point. Bye.